prospect, but what can Farmer do to take it to that next level?
Well, it's very difficult because they should have beat Lake Gibson.
Should have.
I
Here at
mean, I
home?
thought
Yeah.
the second time you play a team,
Yeah.
and I had talked to Edwin that week prior, and I said, well,
felt
you
good.
got to do something different, not crazy. And he came out that first series, if you were at the game, in I
Called it.
formation, ran the ball, threw
Yep.
a bootleg pass, the middle
Yep.
was wide open, they took it down and scored.
Yep.
Now, when they went back and ran the thing with Watkins, their defense was simple. They had safeties at the hash, and when they handed the ball off, it looked like the whole defense ran to the sideline.
I
Because
thought,
and he just ran to the sideline and they stopped him.
I thought that Lake Gibson game, the play calling in the second half was questionable. But not only that, like you said, they came out in the I formation, and they were running the ball, pounding it with Gillespie.
Yes.
Tyree Gillespie.
Yes.
And they could have just stuck with that, but then for whatever reason, they felt the need like they had to put Justin Watkins in just to make them happy. And not to take anything away from Justin.
Yeah.
Justin's a very good football player, but he's not a north-south guy like Tyree is, and I think that was the game plan that they needed to beat Lake
And I think
Gibson
the
that
touchdown was that the safeties are playing hash marks, that the middle was wide open all night, and they did run a bootleg over the middle with the tight end who was uncovered.
Well,
they never came back to it.
Well, then I remember, too, they ran that very questionable play in the second half where they bootlegged it right and then threw it across the field to a wheel to Watkins that got intercepted.
Correct.
And
It was a terrible throw.
What's the rule when you roll right? You never throw it back in the middle.
And that's but they didn't throw a middle. They threw it all the way to the
Well,
other
that's what I'm
sideline.
saying, because that's where, But, that game they should have won, but, I mean, it's tough to get into it, especially when you're playing the Miami schools. The Miami schools is a different type of kid down there.
Well, and when you get that deep in the playoffs, you're playing against teams that can match your speed. So that side-to-side, east-west stuff is not as effective at that point anymore.
No.
And that's why I was saying they should have kept Tyree Gillespie at tailgate.
I agree.
Tailback that game, and they should have kept mashing the ball.
That's what I talked to Farmer about, and when he came out in the eye, I said, okay, and they took it down and scored. I said, good. Now you got a team that's not prepared for that.
Yeah.
And you look at the teams that they're playing now, everybody's running the spread and everything. I don't think there's defenses that can handle a double team or a down block, the linemen, because they never see it.
Well, again, we could talk about that Lake Gibson game that took place 4 years ago, forever, with you two and for me included. But let's get back focused on tonight's game. But before we do that, I really want to thank our sponsors. Really want to thank McCarson Electric for stepping up and being a part of the program. You'll hear all about his son tonight. They stepped up, so if you need any electrical repair, please reach out to McCarson Electric. They do residential, they do commercial, they do new builds. You name it, they do it.
I actually need some electrical work.
Well, call David at McCarson Electric.
You just bought a house. What is that,
I
Dad?
needed a new
Oh,
house.
he's got all kinds of problems.
I got to put a ceiling fan in my room.
Well, you can't do your own ceiling fan?
Listen, I'm trying to figure out the electrical source where it's at.
No, that's good. But again, let's get back to the football game at hand. Let's start with Westport. Offensively, it's going to hurt a lot that you're going to have to move Buster, who's Jyleek Barnes, to quarterback when he's arguably your best wide receiver, and they lose their big playmaker in Israel Chisholm as well.
And Lightsey.
And Lightsey's out. That's rough. And this Westport defense, I will say this, Bryce Langston, my guy, is out. He's got an ankle injury. But the offensive line, if there is a weakness, that offensive line for the Knights is terrible. There's no other way to say it. If you watch the film, and it's been that way for the last 2 years, which is sad, Cass, because for years they had that group of seniors that grew up together and became the stud part of that team.
Yeah, I think I just watched a little bit of the film of Forrest and Vanguard, and I saw a lot of inside blitzes where they just sent everybody, and that quarterback didn't have a prayer.
No chance.
So the offensive line, and that's the key to anything if you're going to do anything offensively. You got a quarterback over there running, but last week the offensive line from Westport didn't do very good because Gavin took some shots.
Sure did.
But he stayed in there and made some great throws, that he completed for touchdowns and big plays. So it'll come down. I think it's going to come down to the kicking game. We saw the kicking game, what happened last week, And I think didn't Vanguard run a punt back for a touchdown last week?
with Trevante Rucker. Who,
so I think
he
he's
gets
going to
his
come
hand
down
on a
to
punt, he'll take it to the house.
And to touch on that, I had an opportunity to talk to Coach Steve Ram on Monday, or actually was it Sunday, just about the kicking game and certain things there, and how they needed to keep the ball away from Rucker on special teams. It's an unfortunate because I think he had some plans to maybe do some things, and I don't know if he can do it anymore because of the players that are out. We talked about maybe, having Savino kick a punt from the shotgun on 4th down and if they're at midfield,
right.
Or maybe doing some type of rugby punt thing. But, what's happened now on, with this whole COVID thing has changed the entire landscape. But I will say this. The one thing that's going to be interesting for Westport on how they adjust is it seemed like when they played Bellevue and they had all those players out, the big thing that they were missing was a lot of their guys up front on both sides of the ball, and we saw it when Bellevue pretty much beat them physically at the line of scrimmage, whereas this week it's not the case. They have their guys up front as far as we know. It's skill guys who they're missing.
Yeah.
So it's a different dynamic this week for Steve Ram in terms of who he's missing, and if there's anyone who can adjust to it, it's him. But now, if he can overcome it, I got a tough time with that. I just think Vanguard's got too good of athletes.
Well, things are going to happen up front. I think it goes back to the spring. Steve came in the spring, had no spring practice. You don't know what kind of weight training program they had. These kids that Vanguard got,
coach.
These kids that Vanguard has, they go when they come in, and it's always been a tradition. They work with the seniors and everything, and it's very rigorous, the off-training, the weight program.
Yes.
And, we had kids that would transfer in from another school, and they couldn't handle the workouts, and they go back. That's how rigorous it is. So, physically, you give a big plus to Vanguard.
Well, now I'm watching Westport warm up right now, and I'm noticing they have number 11 Leonard Hill lined up wide at wide receiver. So with Chisholm out as well as Lightsey, this is probably a coaching switch that Coach Steve Ram made. Leonard Hill's typically a guy that plays tight end.
Yeah.
And he's a good-looking, tall athlete out there, and he also plays defensive end. So this kid's playing both sides of the ball. So we'll probably be getting a big dose of Leonard Hill, and then also our guy Velasquez, who was the week 1 star against Bellevue when they had all those players out. He'll be playing a lot of wide receiver tonight.
He's a playmaker. Look even though he didn't play that much offense last week, the defensive plays he made were phenomenal as a defensive back. And he was, the guy was taller than he was, but he stayed with, he did a good job playing technique.
But how long will this last? I mean, because they're not going to have the depth that Vanguard has. Yeah. By the third quarter, is Westport going to start tailing off because they don't have the depth? And how creative are they going to have to get on offense because Savino's out? The whole offense changes.
Well, and let's talk about some of the studs that are on Vanguard. You're going to hear a lot from the Randall brothers. They're twins. One's a sophomore, one's a junior. They both play running back. They both play linebacker and safety. And then they got Trevante Rucker, who's just a 4-star wide receiver going to Florida next year. He's a special player.
He's a generational player.
He's a special player. Bryce Langston's out, but Leslie Farmer, their middle linebacker, he's a junior this year. He was almost suspended, and we'll get into the suspensions now. But Vanguard appealed it, and it was overturned, and so he's able to play. And so apparently with Richard Rawlings, Richardson, Rowling Richardson.
Yeah.
I coached him. I should know that. But I don't think they appealed or it wasn't overturned, and he's out tonight.
And that one, I mean, really all that was he was beating the kid from North Marion physically, had him pancaked. The North Marion player grabbed him by the face mask, and Rowland just had his hands up, and the kid started throwing punches at him, and I think Rowland just kind of flung his hands in self-defense.
Yeah, he was just showing the referee that he was not doing anything, and
he got ejected. So why he's suspended, I don't know. Once again, it's kind of like all logic is out the door. It's 2020, COVID. Nothing makes sense anymore, but it is what it is. And you talked about stars from Vanguard, too. Let's not forget Tevin Williams.
Oh, that kid is so quick.
He's a super good running back. And then in addition to that, Tony Johnson. That's a kid I've been watching since he's been in the 6th grade.
Well, and I've known Tony a long, long time. I'll tell you the first time I met Tony Johnson. If it's story time, I know I'm not Kaz. First time I met Tony Johnson was my son's second day of practice with the Chiefs. He had never played football, and he was scared to death. And I guess I'll continue it after the national anthem. So I don't have a laptop hooked up, so you're going to hear the national anthem live from the Vanguard High School Band. That was our beautiful national anthem as performed by the Vanguard Knights. And I'll get back to my story with Tony Johnson. So it's the second day of practice. At this point, my son has a size 14 shoe. Kaz, you know my son. He couldn't backpedal. And so they were doing training, and every time they would do the cones where you do the V-cut, he'd circle around the back of the cone and fall because he was 6'1" and had no idea what he was doing. And second day of practice, he didn't want to go, and Tony, he's like, I don't want to do the drill, and Tony put his arm around him and said, let's go. And from that moment on, I'll never forget it, for one of the stars of the team to pick up one of the kid, he played maybe 3 plays that year, to take him under his wing. I'll always remember that. And then I got the opportunity to coach Tony in basketball. And I've told him this. I said, if I owned a CEO, if I was a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, he would take over my company. I think that much of the kid. Smart. He's got a 3.8. Hard worker, and just a natural leader.
Well, and that's the thing I've noticed about him when he's on the field. Because I've seen him in MCYFL, I've seen him in my NFL flag league that I help run, and he's one of those guys. Everyone rallies around him. He not only does he make big plays, but like you said, he's got those leadership qualities that you love to have on the football field.
And he missed all last season of football with a knee. He came back. He actually injured his knee playing for my AAU basketball team, and that tore me apart. So I'm glad he's back. I hope he gets to college and plays football, because Kaz, he's one of those guys you need. He's a glue guy, and he works his tail off.
Let's talk about this quarterback transfer for Vanguard from Miami Central, Alexander Law. Let's let Cass was watching them warm up. I think he can kind of give a little opinion on what he thought.
It looked good. I mean, he was throwing a good ball. Ball was getting there crisp, and he was on target. So we'll see. That's the versus air. So you know how that works.
Well, it's the offensive line that's really going to be the problem.
And that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Well, and let's Farmer, we talked about Farmer. He's not the most patient person. He likes to throw the football. He likes to play a brand of football that he calls Vanguard football. That means he's very impatient running the football. He'll go away from that in a heartbeat because he likes to throw it. And that could happen tonight, and that can keep Westport in the game if they can get a turnover, if they can get a sack, because we know Steve Rim is not afraid to go into I formation and run it.
Listen, I would expect some Wildcat tonight out of Steve Rim. If he's got Buster back there, why not?
Sure.
I mean,
Steve's got to shorten the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the only way he's going to do that is by not throwing passes and doing whatever where the clock, you got to keep the clock running. But, going back to what you just said, wanting to throw the ball, that's probably a reason why Vanguard hasn't advanced. And that's one
Sure
thing I
is.
learned my experience, and I've known for throwing the heck out of the football.
You had Dante
But-
Culpepper.
But everybody realized Dante threw for 3,500 yards that year. But we ran for 2,700
Sure
yards.
did.
And those free playoff games that we played in, Johnny Presley had close to 200 yards in 3 of those
Absolutely.
games.
That's correct.
So you got in the playoffs, you got to be able to. It's a possession game, and you got to be able to run the football.
And you played with you also played with a fullback.
We had a
You
fullback.
ran out of that offset eye, and
Well, we ran out of a lot of things, but
sure did.
but the one back came. In fact, we
Yeah.
were probably the first team in Marion County to run one back. When I had Ronnie Jones and Steve was a receiver, and we ran that. What's his name? Tracy Hambone.
Yep.
So we developed the one back because the year when I first came here, we ran power I. Philip was a power I guy, and I talked him into spreading it out, and we were playing basically basketball out in the daggone football field.
Philip told me that he said the reason he got out of the power I was because he had too many athletes, and he said he was afraid of kids not
Leaving.
wanting to play
Exactly.
at Vanguard High
Yeah.
School.
Absolutely.
And he said I had to change
Yeah.
because if I didn't change, they were going to leave Vanguard High School, and that's why he got out of the power I.
Well, me and Roman Grace and Steve Rim went to Georgia Southern that preseason, and we got the running their offense.
Oh wow.
And that's what we ran the first year when Ronnie Steve didn't play, but Ronnie it was made for Steve, and we did that. Then when we lost our tight end, we had a tight end in Sean Nunn. We went to the one back. We had a tight end, and then we had 3 wide. But we always been originated from the I. Our 9th graders play I, our JV play I, and then we split out from that. There's the smoke.
And the Vanguard Knights have taken the field as just talking about Yancey shows his
There
face.
he
He's like
is.
a ghost.
What's up?
What's that chicken beak you got
So,
on your face, Phil?
It's good to see the Knights run out on the field. They're led actually by Tony Johnson,
and let's
he's carrying a sword.
let's add that Jody Drain is doing the smoke out there.
Oh, yeah.
Doing a fantastic job with the smoke, Jody Drain.
Man, how long's he been here? He was here
Moby
with
Dick
you.
was a minute.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
there he went to Westport with me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, now Westport takes the field, and that means we're just 2.5 minutes away from kickoff. And I do, again, want to thank our sponsors. McCarson Electric, thank you very much for coming on board. Also want to thank Life South Community Blood Centers. And Palm Gardens is also on this week. So please get out there, give the Get the Wife, donate blood. And if you're looking for an assisted living facility, you're not going to find a better one than Palm Gardens. And John Ivory may be moving in there if he doesn't get his house set up.
Yeah, if I don't get things straight,
Let's see.
I mean.
I've seen you now for 30 minutes. You have a roach problem. You have an electrical problem. You need a new roof. Is there anything else you need?
Well, no, the roof issues at the old house that
Oh,
I
okay.
have under contract.
You
so.
just need a handyman.
Yeah, I got that too. But these handymen, you're on their time.
That is fair. That's fair.
Hey, you know what I'm noticing here? They've got Tony Johnson as the captain for Vanguard, and then they got Elijah Hopkins as the captain for
Yep.
Westport. Let's talk about Elijah
Teammates
Hopkins.
on that Chiefs team.
Well, let's talk about how this is a big game
Oh,
for Elijah.
we didn't
because,
even mention it.
Yeah, I mean he's a transfer from Vanguard, so this is a huge game for him.
And he came to Westport because he wanted to play for Steve Rim.
Yeah.
And that was a big win. And let's be clear, Tony Johnson was at my house when he made the decision to stay at Vanguard. He was working out with the other basketball players. He goes, I just can't leave. And that's when he decided to stay. And again, he just wanted to graduate as a Knight. I respect that. Elijah Hopkins knew he could go to Westport and separate himself from all the other talent at Vanguard. And so far, he's done a tremendous job. We'll see him at running back. We'll see him at wide receiver. He'll line up in the slot. He's going to play safety. He may come up and cheat a little bit at linebacker. He's their Mr. Utility guy for Westport.
He's their Mr. Do Everything. Don't be surprised if you see him in the Wildcat a little bit tonight.
Why not?
I mean, that's what Steve's going to do. I mean, he's going to figure out ways to get the ball in his best player's hands. But like Coach Cass said, chew up that clock. The clock is your friend tonight for Westport High School.
See, my thing offensively, always what I try to do is work on matchups. And I always wanted to get my best kid in space against their worst kid. So if I'm the third receiver in, I'm going against a safety with a good kid. So, that's what you want to do. You want to create matchups where your kid has an opportunity to break a tackle and make a big play.
Yeah, and again, that's what's going to be about tonight because the offensive line and the lack of a consistent quarterback for Westport is who can make the biggest play and who can not make the biggest mistakes.
Right.
And again, with that offensive line for Vanguard, it's going to kind of neutralize it. Again, Westport comes in at 2-0. Vanguard comes in at 1-0. Vanguard played Forest High School, which some people think is really good. Or they're both. Oh, I'm sorry. Westport's 3-0. Vanguard's 2-0.
Yeah.
And again, you can't look much at the film from last week. So let's see where it goes.
I think Forest is good, but they're not really good. I'm not going to give them that title just yet. Yeah, they beat North Marion 7-0, but the North Marion team I saw last week against Westport is not a very good football team. I mean, let's be serious for a second. They played Vanguard tough, but it's a rivalry game. And let's be honest, too. Vanguard is not the same Vanguard of old. I mean, this team, I'm not saying they're not a good team. This is a very good football team. But they're not the same Vanguard we've seen in the previous years when we had Nkosi Perry at quarterback or even Glover at quarterback after him. Those were fantastic teams.
I will tell you this. I think this team is deeper than those teams. So that if you look at that team last year that went to that regional final, that was an incredibly deep team. They just didn't have the offensive line. They had, I think Curry was a good quarterback in that system. They had Rucker. They had Langston. Momo was on that team for a while.
Curry was blessed to have amazing athletes around him, too.
Agreed, but they're so deep. If you look at the number of athletes that Vanguard has, it's double the amount of potential stars as a team like Westport has.
Oh, yeah.
But Westport's got a better offensive line. And I'll tell you what, that all starts with William Cotney.
Well, we'll see here because Westport hasn't faced the speed
Nope.
of Vanguard in practice.
That's true.
So, that's a different. That's totally different. Or the speed on defense.
Are we going to give some quick pregame predictions before this game starts?
I don't predict anything. I hope it's a good game.
Well, I already put my prediction out on Twitter. I said 34-12 Vanguard wins. I do think
and that's probably a good prediction.
I don't know how
there.
Westport scores 12.
But that's the thing
they're going to score 2 touchdowns and miss 2 extra points.
Well, no, and the reason I say that is the Vanguard defense is elite. That Vanguard defense is elite.
I think Westport is going to figure out a way to score a couple of touchdowns. I think you're going to see a guy like a Hopkins bust a couple of big plays for a long touchdown. Maybe they score a defensive touchdown. Now, we'll say this. If they have those 3 guys tonight, Savino, Lightsey, Chisholm, different game. I think it's coming down to a touchdown at that point.
Sure.
And I think the game could go either way, in all honesty.
But I think that it's gonna be at least the first quarter. It's feeling out. But when you practice against a certain type of speed and you face it a different type, a lot faster in practice. In a game, it takes a while to get used to that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at the first series when Westport gets the ball to see if they are going to run at them where they can hold blocks or they're going to try to go outside. You can't go outside of Vanguard.
And as you mentioned, Westport is going to get the football first. They're going to work from our right to our left. The kicker for Vanguard and the kicking game has gotten significantly better over the last few years. And they also win a regional final here if they had a kicker 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then they had another Logan. Logan Keene is going to be the kicker. He's got a good foot, kicks it deep. Back deep for Westport is going to be Hopkins. And he's standing at about his own 5, and we're almost ready for kickoff.
Here we go.
And we're going to get an early taste of what Westport can do. And again, you're listening live to high school football right here on WOCA The Source. I'm Galen Udold. I'm joined with Coach Castaneda and John Ivory. And so Logan Keene is getting ready. He's waiting for the whistle to blow so he can put his foot into it. And here's the kick. It's a nice high kick angle that may go out of bounds. He's going to pick it up on the hop instead at the 20. He breaks a tackle, moves upfield, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 32-yard line.
I don't even know who that is because number 24 for Westport is not even on the roster.
Is it 84? He's got his jersey all tied up. I guess he doesn't want his mama to know who he is.
It looks like it's 24. Yeah, so we don't know who number 24 is tonight.
That's hey. Let me be very clear. The numbers that Vanguard wears are perfect. They're wearing their all blues with white numbers and their red helmets, and you can see those numbers from a mile away. Westport's in their all white with that teal uniform and black helmets, and it's much easier for us up here tonight.
And they do have Buster at quarterback. So.
Buster's going to be in the two flanker set. Now they're going to shift into an offset I with Hopkins. They're going to hand it to the fullback. He's got 5, and they're going to bring him down right at about the 35-yard line, 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 4.
So Westport, Coach Cash, they come out in a one tight end set, double wing formation.
But they ended up in I.
Yeah.
So
with
that's
the
just
motion.
window dressing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they did run to the end came up field, and they left him alone. They did get to the linebacker, and they got some good positive yardage on that
Same
run.
double wing formation. Buster drops back. He fires to the right. He's got a man on man-to-man coverage, and it's caught, and it's dropped. That play is broken up.
That's a good throw, good play, and an excellent play by the DB. He stayed with it.
Yeah, that was number 20 on the defense, Emil Senko for Vanguard. That I tell you, Leonard Hill had the ball. I mean, that's
a good
it was
play.
a fantastic, looked like it was a catch, but just better defense by Senko.
And that's one thing PJ used to do, and he always, once they caught the ball, he always stayed with it, knocking it down or whatever throughout the play. I mean, it wasn't when he caught it. He just tried to knock it down. And this guy did an excellent job on that.
Coach says PJ means PJ Williams.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, his best friend.
There's only one PJ. Well,
all right, so now that'll set up 3rd and 5. They're back in that wing formation. And Buster's going to drop back. He's going to fire the exact same route to Hill. This time he overthrows him.
All right.
A good coverage there by Senko. And that's not going to work.
So Coach Rem comes out and does exactly opposite what we thought he would do. Comes out in the wing T, which looks like he's going to run the you know what out of the ball, and he actually calls 2 pass plays out of the 3 plays going deep.
Well, the good news is he had protection.
Lots of time.
Yeah,
He had lots of time
protection.
to throw the ball.
Yeah,
So that was the good news.
There's really no pass rush by Vanguard whatsoever right now.
So Sadal's going to come in and punt here in 4th and 5. Watching him in pregame, he was, now they're going to break it into the freshman is going to come in and do the punting. No, we do not move the camera.
Illegal
and
substitution.
it's going to be Heisted is going to be a freshman. Watching him in kick in pregame, it was pretty terrible. Not going to lie. But so Rucker is going to be back deep for the Knights. And if he gets his hand on the ball, he's the kind of player that will take it to the house every single time.
Well, I would rush this punt just to make sure what they can do. I'd try to block it.
They did have a 5-yard penalty, and it'll be 4th and 10. There's the punt. End over end, angle, that'll go out of bounds. Just over. No, it doesn't go out of bounds. Rucker picks it up. He's going to head all the way across.
Nope.
It'll come back.
It'll come back.
Rucker stutter steps at midfield, runs backwards. Now he's going to come back my way. Now he's going to head back upfield, finds a hole. I'll tell you what, if you like the jitterbug run,
off or not,
Trevante Rucker.
15-yard penalty clip.
And that'll be a spot foul. It'll be from the 44. So it'll be backed up to about the 31-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Knights.
Well, and a very poor punt by Westport. We talked about this at the beginning of the game,
Yep.
how their kicking game struggles. But then again, too, I think the punter may be thinking a little bit too much here because I'm sure Coach Rem gave him instructions. Do not punt Rucker the ball.
Yeah.
Well, he tried to kick it out of bounds. He couldn't reach
Yeah,
it.
he was trying to kick it out of bounds. He didn't have the leg power to get there, and Westport catches a big break with the block on the return.
And so that again, it's 10:43 left to go here in the first quarter. This will be the first possession for the Knights as they move from our left to our right. They're going to put it at the 29.
Well, Westport had pretty good coverage on that because it looked like it was wide open on the other side. All right, we'll see what happens here now. See how their defensive line does.
So the Knights are going to spread everything out. They're going to have 4 wide receivers. Savion Harris is by himself to the bottom.
Think he'll throw it deep to Rucker? One-on-one?
I think he's going to go with Savion Harris against Buster.
Up top?
Here to the bottom. Savion Harris wearing 17 this year. He wore 5 last year. They're going to send a man in motion. He's going to set up. Now it'll be 2 wide receivers each way. They're going to give it to the running back, Randall. He puts his head down and picks up maybe 3. With forward progress, they're going to give him 4. It'll be 2nd down at 6.
I tell you, great gang tackle by Westport. And
And what was
even more impressive was seeing Elijah Hopkins come all the way back from free safety and getting in on that too. That's a testament to the coaching going on at Westport High School and the defense that Coach Daryl Collins is running over there from him, who's a former longtime coach at North Marion, now with his buddy Coach Rem at Westport High School.
2nd and 6. Law's going to get in the shotgun. They're going to give it to this one time Tevin Williams. He's going to pick up 4 more, and it'll be 3rd and short after the nice run.
And that's Larry Brooks on the tackle, but even a better run really by Vanguard. And Vanguard going in this hurry-up offense. They're looks like they're going to try to tire out this lack of depth that Westport has.
Law's calling for the snap. They're going to hand it off again, and this time Randall's hitting the backfield. He's going to be held short. Great play there by the defense for Westport. That's going to set up 4th down and about 2.
Now, if the quarterback still running.
Number 22, Trey Stokes. He's really the guy that got in there and blew that up for Westport, and Larry Brooks cleaned it up. And we got 4th and 1 here, and they're still going hurry up.
2 wideouts each way. Law's going to call for the snap.
Trying to
now
draw
he's going
him
to step up, and let's see if they call a play or not.
Yeah, like Coach Cass said, trying to draw him off. They're going to run a play. They're going to go for this.
Might as well. Let's see what happens. Sitting on the 38. Low snap. Throws a little flanker pass to Tevin Williams. He makes one man miss, but he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
Big
It'll be
play.
a turnover on downs. Great pursuit there by the Wolfpack.
Well, he broke the first tackle, but he had good gang tackling coming after that. That's a
big play.
That's a big play right there, and that's. I don't know if that's overconfidence by Edwin thinking he can get a first down, but now the field position's changed.
Yeah, it was number 8, Calvin Williams for Westport, who got in there to make the initial hit, but they shook his tackle, but he's the one who really slowed things up.
Oh, yeah.
That allowed Larry Brooks to get in there and clean it up to stop him on the 4th down.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Wolfpack. They're going to have the football with their second possession inside Wolfpack territory, or Knights territory. Buster's underneath the center in the I formation, 2 wideouts each way. He's going to give it to the deep running back. I think that was Hopkins.
Was that
He's going to
Hopkins?
pick up 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 with 8:53 left to go in the first quarter. No score early on here at Booster Stadium.
I don't like that decision by Vanguard there. I think it's too early in the game to be doing stuff like that. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but you're
set the tone. It is early in the game. You can overcome it.
Well, if I had to run a play, it would have been fake the dive and give it to the quarterback because it's been open every time. I look for him to pull it out and run it and
I
get big
formation
yardage out of
again.
it.
Buster's underneath the center. Toss sweep to the left.
Cut it
That's
back.
Hopkins.
There you go.
He cuts back up. He's got
Nice
near
run.
the first down. It depends on the spot. He's inside the 30. They're going to mark him down right at the 28, and that'll be enough for a first down. 1st and 10 Wolfpack.
Wolfpack, they've got the momentum here, and this reminds me of an old saying that Coach Brent Hall used to say to us all the time. He said, winning this game of the football is all about who's going to throw the first punch, and not literally throwing a punch, but a momentum swing, and Westport threw the first punch in this game as a big underdog tonight. So let's see how this goes.
How about that offensive line?
I was just going to talk about that. They're coming off and holding on their blocks and getting some good movement up front.
William Cotney got to the linebacker Farmer and really opened up that hole. Now they're going to do 3 wideouts with a tight end and a single back. Up back really in a fullback position. And that's the kid who had a great second half last week.
Miller.
Yeah, Miller on the carry.
I had a great conversation with Coach Rem over the weekend about Miller. He told me Miller's his secret weapon. He said he's a kid. You can't get too complicated with him on the play calling. When you need a north-south runner, he's the guy he calls on. So, hey, you know what? And like Coach Cass said, don't expect to get outside on Vanguard. Maybe Miller, he's the X factor for Westport.
Well, they're doing a good job. They're blocking down and leaving the defensive end alone. And when he takes 2 steps up, they hand it off, and the guy's getting 3 yards.
And these D tackles are
now they brought the
undersized.
linebacker up to stop that play.
That'll be looks like whistle on a play. Looks like Westport wants a timeout or some issue maybe with the chain gang. It's 2nd and 5, nonetheless, 7:07. Again, want to thank McCarson Electric for their sponsorship tonight. And Buster's going to go over and talk to his uncle. What a proud moment for Steve Rim to be able to coach his nephew.
We know Buster. We know Buster since he was little.
Basically his son. I mean, let's be serious.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a son to him.
And I tell you what, the reason Steve coached the MCYFL and everything was for Buster.
He told me that the first day.
He's there for Buster.
First day. All right, 3 wideouts, 2 to the bottom, 1 to the top with the tight end to the right side. And now they're going to put Hopkins in a swinging I formation. They're going to give it to the up man Miller. He puts his head down, gets inside the 20-yard line. It'll be near a first down. It'll be 3rd and short, and that clock rolls.
There he faked the sweep with the guy in motion, handed it back, and they're working the left side, leaving the end alone. And it's like a read option, except they're showing different things. And that end's got to come back and make the play. They're doing a good job stealing inside. So I think that might be and he's staying to the left side, so he must have saw something on film.
And again, no Bryce Langston for the Vanguard Knights, and they are very much undersized at the D end position. It's hard to replace a guy like Bryce Langston. I formation this time, and they're going to give it to the beatback Hopkins. He's got enough maybe for the first down. He's turning, and I think they're going to give him that as they get it to the 20.
Well, he's close.
28 and a half.
Yeah.
He didn't need much. It's going to be first down. They're calling.
And like you guys said, they continue to run to the left side. That time they got in the I formation with only 2 receivers, but a twin slot set to the boundary, leaving the field side wide open. So this is kind of that chess game I think that Coach Wren might be playing here. Is he going to run something where he boots it to the right?
Well, I don't know, but usually when my coaching philosophy was, I always had a good left side because everybody thought I was left-handed. And we always ran left because I had my best players there, because when you defend, you always think you're going right.
Yeah.
And we ran a lot of left side, and I always had my best people left side because people don't think about that. They're the opposite. And I'm just thinking, So right now he's taking. If you had a good group, you put them on your left side on defense.
Well, I'll tell you, right now we are seeing that 4th down attempt really bite Vanguard in the butt here.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if that was Westport going for it as the big underdog, I could understand it. But when you're the heavy favorite here and you've got the better football team, why take those types of chances?
Well, look what's happening right now. The clock is running.
Yeah.
And he's making the game shorter.
We
He
are.
has to be. He can't have no long game.
We are at the water break here. It's 5:75 according to that beautiful booster scoreboard, which is horrific. They haven't upgraded the facilities in this place in 35 years. 5:52 left to go here. In I formation, 1st and 10. They're going to give it to Hopkins as a tailback. He bounces outside, needs to break a tackle, but he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
That's a good job by the outside linebacker and corner coming up.
Yeah, that was actually number 20, Emil Sanko. He's a cornerback for them, and he was playing up as if he was a linebacker because he didn't have any receivers to his side of the field.
And he read the block, and he just came up and contained and did a heck of a job.
Yeah, I tell you, Sanko's having a heck of a game right now for
You're not going to try to
get.
get outside no matter. And Elijah, he can run. But, sometimes they can run also. So he lost yardage, I think, on that, trying to get outside.
Well, again, what we talked about at the opening is how fast this Vanguard team, especially that linebacking core, is so quick. And their DBs are elite. So let's see here, 2nd down and 12. Steve Rim doesn't like what he sees, so he's going to call a timeout.
Yeah, it appears that Vanguard is running some type of zone in the secondary because the corners are not following the receivers to the side of the field over there. So
Well, he was unbalanced that time.
Yeah.
He was over to the right, so he overloaded the right side. I think he had number 72 with tackle with the tight end.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to get, what is it, 3rd and 11?
Yeah, it's 2nd down and 12.
2nd and 12. So he's going to have to get a good 5-yard play.
I don't know. I'm feeling trick play time. What about you?
It's a Steve Rim specialty.
It's not a trick play now. It's an extension of the offense.
He gets so upset if you call it a trick play.
We don't have trick plays.
Yeah. Are you the one who taught him that?
Well, we ran bounce pass. We run this and that, but that's
I've
an
never
extension.
seen the bounce backs.
I've run it 3 times and it worked
completed.
1 time.
It's never worked.
It's worked
I've
3
never seen
times.
It worked when Steve Rem played at Vanguard.
Yeah, we
not
did.
against-
We did against Richard Kennedy. When he was at Leesburg, we ran that against him. He was so pissed.
So Buster's underneath the center, offset I now with the Hopkins, the deep man. They're going to send a man in motion. That's Velasquez. He's going to set up in the slot. Buster looks that way.
They covered it well.
Velasquez is under great coverage there.
Great
that
coverage.
was nearly picked off by Tyron Wilson.
Yeah, great coverage by Tyron Wilson. Velasquez, like you said, he went in motion across the field.
Was the safety open? I mean, was the safety? Who went with?
No. It was just
The slant wasn't open.
Nothing was open. Slant wheel, nothing was really open. But the one thing I'm impressed with Buster at quarterback is he hasn't been back there all year. He hasn't fumbled a snap yet. So
He's a
far.
good.
He's got great hands.
Usually when you got a guy back there who's not used to the chemistry with the center, you're going to see a lot of mishandled snaps.
Well,
We're not
he
seeing
and
that.
Cotton have played together
To
for
make
a
it
long
easy,
time.
he's a rim, and they can do anything. I've had the whole family. It's like
3rd and
staggers.
12. Ball sits right at the 20. They're going to give it to Hopkins. He bounces over the left side. He breaks a tackle. Somehow finds a hole. It's going to pick up 6, but it'll still set up 4th and 6. And I think Westport has to go for it.
Oh yeah,
They don't have a
They
kicking
can't kick
game.
it that far.
They can't kick a field goal from here.
Steve Rick could.
If he ran the, I don't know, because we ran a slant wheel. And we usually ran a slant wheel. We would run it tight end on a dump, and that would open the middle because you got the slant and the wheel, and they just go that way. So maybe he'll do a slant wheel to the trip side and try to hit the tight end over the middle.
You know, I think what's going on
Or
though
backside slant.
is Coach Rem knows that Buster doesn't have the precision to hit those reads on the short passes like a Savino. What he's just telling them, hey, listen, when we throw it, we're going to throw it deep. We're going to hope our receivers make a play.
See the trip side?
So now we're going to go 2 tight ends, 1 back, and there's a flag on the play. I think that's got to be a delay of game.
There's a fumble snap.
Delay of game. That'll push the Wolfpack back by 5 yards, make this 4th down even harder. And again, let's not forget, this is one of those county rivalries. Westport hasn't played Vanguard in years, in a long, long time. They got their first win against Marion County, North Marion since 2002 last week. 2004. You were there.
No, they got big Larry Brooks in the game.
If they run that same formation with the trips and do whatever, the tight end runs a crossing route toward the far, he'll be wide open. See the tight end? See, there's no safety
Yeah, it's
behind
Elijah
that.
Hopkins.
And try to hit him deep.
And Buster's going to hand it off. He's going to hand it to Brooks over the left side. That's not going to work.
Nah.
That's a field position game. He picked up 3. It'll be a turnover on downs.
You know,
and again, that going for it didn't hurt the Knights.
Well,
they lost 25 yards of field position.
Yes and no. I mean, but a lot of time came off the clock too. I mean, that was, you know, at the end of the day, that was not a loss for Westport, despite not coming away with any points. You've got a 0-0 game with the first quarter almost over. Who would have expected that tonight?
So Law comes back into the game. He's in shotgun for the Knights as they move from our left to our right. 4 wideouts. He drops back. He's looking left. He looks deep for a man, and he tries to go get it, trying to find. It looked like, is that number 1 or no, number 2? That's Williams. He was trying to find him. Just, he wasn't open. Good coverage on the play.
Yeah, that was. It looks like that was number 6, Kamori Mathis on the coverage.
Chemo.
Okay.
Known Chemo. I love that kid too.
And he's a good player. He's
a linebacker.
Yeah.
He's a linebacker covering that receiver downfield.
Well,
he got him a linebacker, but he can play anywhere.
Yeah, he's a point guard for the basketball team. 4 wideouts, 3 to the top. Law looks over the middle, had a man open, just couldn't put his hands on it.
Threw too hard.
He threw a rifle, just couldn't get his hands up that quick. That was
They flared the back out to take the linebacker out of the way, and they had a nice open zone there, and he just threw it too hard.
Intended for Jordan.
So as Coach Cass alluded to, Law looked great in pregame on air, but when you put him in the game situation, looking like a little bit of a different situation here.
3 wideouts to the top. Law drops back, 3rd and 10. He's going to throw it into the flats, intended for Savion Harris, and he was under all kinds of pressure and incomplete.
3 and out for Vanguard High School.
That's another win there for him.
Big stop there. 4th and 10.
The only bad thing is the clock wasn't running because they threw 2 consecutive passes.
And Logan Keene's going to come in to punt. And Vanguard's got to figure out that offensive line. I asked Farmer today before the game. I said, how's that offensive line? He goes, we'll be all right. He said that every game last year. He's a very, very positive person.
He says that every year. I mean,
and there were years where their offensive line was incredibly good.
Well, the only thing we need here now for Westport is a bad snap.
Who's back deep? Is that Hopkins?
It is Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopkins is back deep. He's standing at the 50. Logan puts his foot into it. High, spiraling kick. It's going to come down and bounce backwards. It's going to be down at the 39-yard line, so not a great kick at all.
Another good field position right
But
there.
Westport is winning the field position battle.
Westport catches a break there. They're going to start from the Vanguard 40-yard line. And I think we're going to get a good dose of some running to the left side by Coach Rem here again. And I think we're going to see number 4, Miller, be the star of this drive. So
Yeah, it's interesting. They got Trevante Rucker playing free safety for Vanguard. And again, they're really small up front. They don't have that hoss.
Well, if Vanguard can't figure out their passing game on offense, sooner or later they're going to have to figure out some way to get Rucker the ball, whether it's a jet sweep or reverse or putting him in at quarterback. I mean, you got to get him the ball.
You got to put him in space
Yeah.
and get him the ball, whether it's a quick pass and just let him do his thing.
1st and 10 for the Wolfpack. Buster's in I formation. Velasquez goes in motion. They're going to hand it to the deep back. It's going to be met right at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be brought down for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. 3:06 left to go here in the first quarter. No score.
I tell you, defensively right now, what I'm seeing is Vanguard's giving zero respect to the passing game. They literally have about 8 guys in the box right now. The corners are just playing man up, and Rutgers even playing pretty close to the box as the safety. I mean, I'm kind of seeing a mismatch down there with number 11, Leonard Hill.
Yeah.
He's a big kid.
They've gone there a couple of times already and just wasn't able to bring it down. I formation, same setup. Velasquez is off the line of scrimmage. Buster's going to keep it and roll it out. He's going to try to break a tackle, but Rucker meets him out in the flats, but he's going to pick up 5 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Wolfpack.
You saw that coming. Wait for that.
And this is where they miss Savino's arm, because Savino's just a better passer. That's what he does.
Oh, well, he probably told him was just
keep it.
Just keep it. He didn't tell the
Well,
backs
you know,
or anything.
right.
He just don't just keep it.
We're in 2-down territory here, so I think we're gonna get a run out of Steve Rem.
All right, so it's 3rd and long, and I formation.
Go take off.
Buster's underneath the center. He hasn't been in shotgun all night. So he looks to the line. Steve Rem's going to call an audible. Looks like he may offset his tight end. They're going to let that clock is not running. They got Miller in the backfield. Now they're going to put Hopkins on a little end around, and he's going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. That play is not going to work.
That is they are strong on that side.
Yeah, that's number 26, the defensive end, Dion Hunt on the tackle for Vanguard. I tell you, this Vanguard defense is impressive in terms of how quickly they get to the ball. Westport hasn't seen this all season. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Coach Cass, pregame when you said they're not going to get to the outside on them.
So it'll be 4th and 10, and the Wolfpack are going to go for it here as we're approaching the end of the first quarter. Buster's going to have 3 wideouts to the top. Now they're going to shift one downhill. Leonard Hill is going to be all by himself to the bottom.
Throw it deep.
Lots of room over there.
Throw it over here to the left. Oh, no.
Miller is the lone running back. Coach Kaz is coaching Steve Rim up here in the booth. Buster looks that way to Leonard Hill, and it's nearly intercepted.
I think Hill broke the route. He ran a slant and then took off deep. And I think he was looking for a slant.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused there what happened. He was running a slant, then he ran a slant up, a slant and up pass. And
Buster looked at his slant.
Yeah.
Luckily, he threw a bad pass because I think Durante was there ready to pick it off.
That was nearly picked there.
Yeah. Well, they gained some yardage on the field possession. Vanguard did.
Well, let's see how the line for the Knights play here. It's been poor so far. We're going to do a pistol formation, are the Knights, as they move from our left to our right with 1:05 left to go here in the first quarter. No score here at Booster Stadium. They're going to give it to the running back, and he's going to be met behind the line of scrimmage.
Good job by the linebackers.
Yeah, that's our guy Larry Brooks on the tackle, getting in there. Larry's having a heck of a game, and the running back Betterson just can't get anywhere.
I had Larry Brooks played for me, and I tell you what, his son's a hell of a lot better than he is. I'll tell you that. I don't mention on Larry. Larry's a good player, but his son has been spectacular these last 2 weeks.
2nd and 10 for the Knights. Ball sits on their 40. Looks like Brooks is going to blitz here as he creeps up. Law points him out. Let's see if the Knights can adjust. Law drops back. He's got a little bit of time. He fires a deep ball way overthrown. Intended for Savion Harris out there. And it'll be 3rd and 10.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you know, we're talking about Larry
Flag on the
Brooks.
play.
I was watching him that
It'll
play.
be holding. Well, it'll be holding. Hold on, holding.
Oh, yeah, they
it'll be a
held him.
spot foul, and so now it'll be 2nd and 25.
Larry Brooks literally just took out 3 offensive linemen all by himself. I mean, he took them all out. I mean, that was amazing what I just saw.
You know what he just did. You wish he'd do at fullback.
Yeah.
Because at fullback he runs sideways.
Yeah.
Instead of running there and you're right. He took 3 guys and they held him and they still didn't stop him.
Yeah.
Terrible penalty there by the Knights. That's a 25-yard penalty. Well, it'll be 2nd and 25. Sorry, 15-yard penalty. So Rucker's going to come in at wideout. He's going to be split to the bottom with Savion Harris in the slot. Law calls a signal from shotgun. He drops back. He's looking that way, fires to Savion Harris, who catches it at 35, tries to make a man miss, and is dragged out of bounds after about a 9-yard gain. And that's Savion Harris' specialty. He loves to run that curl route. Yeah. He's so strong.
Savion Harris is a good football player. But, hey, kudos to Larry Brooks, who's probably a lot slower than Savion Harris is, actually got to him to make the tackle in open field as a linebacker to force the 3rd down here.
All right, so again, 2 out each way. Law is in shotgun. 3rd and 15 now. Law drops back. He's looking, fires, and it's blocked at the line of scrimmage, and that'll fall incomplete. And it'll be 4th and 15, and the Knights are going to have to punt again.
Yeah, we have to credit number 17, Chaz Seidel, there with blocking that pass. So I tell you, Westport is they're playing the better football game right now.
You know, right now, Vanguard's offense is so out of sync. They have not have any rhythm. And usually when we coached offense, we always had that one play that brought the offense together and they got in sync. And right now, they can't do anything. He needs to find something and stay with it and get aggressive to he needs first downs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he needs first downs. And the only way you got to do that, you got to get some your offense has got to get in sync. And right now they're just, they're awful.
And we are at the end of the first quarter.
Not to take nothing away from Westport, but they can run the ball on these guys, and they just trying to do different things.
All right, so we are at the end of the first quarter, and there's no score. I think that shocked everybody in the building. This is exactly what Westport wanted to happen here. It'll be 4th and a long 15. The Knights are going to have to punt. And while we have this, I really want to thank you for listening to high school football right here on WOCA The Source, 96.3 AM and 1370 FM. I know we're also streaming online at YouTube at WOCA The Source, and we're also streaming on the Westport feed on their YouTube channel.
The Report.
There you go. All right. So now Logan Keene is going to come in for the kick and the punt. Low one hopper. And that ball, he was down.
His knee hit the ground.
His knee hit
Yes,
the ground.
it did.
That'll be Wolfpack football at the 25-yard line. Big mistake there by the punter.
A heck of awareness by the referee there.
Yeah, he did a good job.
That's an easy call.
Yeah, but Mo, I think a lot of high school referees wouldn't have caught that. That's just my honest opinion, based on the things we see in Marion County.
Not a good snap at all. And again, the offensive line for Vanguard is just not getting it done. And you would think, as much as they recruit athletes, they get Law from Miami, they always seem to get a running back. Last year they got one of the best running backs in the state. They can't get an offensive lineman. They should have gotten William Cotney, and I told Farmer that.
Listen, Vanguard doesn't care about offensive linemen. They get their athletes, they're happy.
That's true. All right, so it'll be 1st and 10. Wolfpack ball's going to be at the 25. Again, Westport has dominated the field position game. Buster's going to be underneath the center. Right behind him is the big man, Brooks. Buster drops back. He's under pressure. He fires it into the end zone, and it's going to be picked off. Great play there by Wilson.
So it looked like Velasquez was running. He was on the skinny post there. Got inside the receiver. Actually got good position on him. If Buster would have put that in the right spot, I think they would have actually had a touchdown there. And look at Velasquez had it in his hands, but the defensive back there, number 21, Tyron Wilson, did a better job taking it out of his hands.
He ran the route. He was on top of that route the whole
he did a
time.
great
Tyron
job.
Wilson's a 3-year starter. He's another one of those kids who just gets out there and makes plays.
You know, I like the play call by Coach right in there. You're deep in their territory right after a turnover. Those are on first down. Those are the times when you try to go for the big play.
These wide receivers have not been open.
My college
the whole
coach
game.
tells me all the time. He goes, he's like, I throw it deep 6 times, but I only got to complete 1.
Yeah, and again, thus far,
Yeah.
Westport, the wide receivers have not been open. The only way they haven't completed a pass, the only way they've been able to move the football is on the ground. And so at some point, Westport's going to have to make that adjustment and just run the football. And so Wolfpack are going to get a penalty here, and that'll make it 1st and 5 from the 25 as now Vanguard moves from our right to our left.
Illegal substitution is what we had there.
Well, we'll see what happens
That's what I
here.
said.
He's got to find some
didn't
rhythm
hear
on offense. You know, so
All right, shotgun formation for Law. He's going to hand it to the running back who slips in the backfield, manages to keep his feet and picks up 2.
That play I love because, the running back lost his balance, but the defensive end went for the quarterback and it left a big running gap right there.
And that was random.
And the guy just tripped over his own 2 feet.
One of the twins.
That would have opened up right there.
That was Michael.
Yard 2nd and 9.
He wears 7. His brother wears 4. 3 wideouts to the top. Law looks that way. Now he's going to fire into the flats. Intended for Randall.
It's almost picked
But
off.
he would have been blown up by Chemo there in the flats if he caught that.
You know, what I'm noticing about the Vanguard offense, I don't know if it's so much the play calling. I think it's this hurry-up offense. I don't think they're built for this. It's not letting them get a rhythm. I think they need to probably slow things down a little bit.
Well, that's what's bad about the hurry-up offense. You could run 3 and out and run 20 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
You know, the
And they're
thing
just
is, we're in high school. I mean, you know, everybody's trying to do, but you got to be very fundamentally sound up front.
So
Right now, they're not doing anything.
So Law's
There's
going to
no
be in
rhythm.
shotgun, 3 wideouts to the top. He drops back. He's under pressure. He's going to be hit from behind and pulled down by Seidel, and that'll be a sack, and it'll be 4th down and forever. And the turnover, they get 0 points, and again, Westport's going to have good field position.
Westport just brought a simple 5-man rush there, nothing special. Seidel, he came around the edge completely unblocked.
The left tackle didn't block
Left
nobody.
tackle did no blocking, and the running back did no blocking for Vanguard.
They made a couple of changes. They pulled Hopkins out, so we got a blow that time as he comes in for the punt. And Cade McCarson was playing in that free safety position. So now Logan Keene is going to be the punter. He's going to stand at his own 5. The last time it was a 2-hopper that he had to get down on one knee
All
to
right,
make a
come
play.
on, Brooks.
Brooks comes in late. He's going to stand up and rush the punter. There's a snap. It's much better. Oh, not a good kick at all. That ball traveled about 8 yards in the air and was a 12, 15-yard roll. It'll be Wolfpack football at the 42.
They got a nice roll on the ball, but what almost happened was it almost hit the long snapper in the back as he was running down the field, and that would have been disastrous for Vanguard High School.
I mean, why can't we have open tryouts for kickers at these schools?
Well, you know, and again, we talked about this at the beginning of the game, how important the kicking game was going to be.
Well, all the soccer players must be afraid of COVID. That's what must be
I
what
don't
it
know.
is.
Hey, I have a soccer player at home, and he's soft. Well, he's at FSU.
Well, that's why.
Oh, God, I hate watching soccer.
Look at how much they flop when they're in games.
Oh,
They play like
it's
the
almost like
LeBron
the
James
NBA.
on the basketball court, flopping all over the place.
1st and 10 for Buster I formation. Brooks is in front of Hopkins. They're going to give it to, that's Wilson.
Where did they run?
That was Miller.
Okay.
That was Miller. He picks up 12. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 30.
You know, and that's a good point, Coach Cass, about going to the left. Most novice coaches would say, well, we got to run to the field side. We don't have enough room on the boundary. But Coach Rem is sticking with, I'm going to go to where we can expose them, and that's exactly where he's going.
And that's our philosophy, really, is we run left.
1st and 10 I formation. They're going to give it to Miller again. He puts his head down, runs straight ahead. Flag on the play because that was a very, very late hit by Farmer, who's known for that. And again, the discipline for Vanguard is just not there. They're an incredibly undisciplined football team. And now there's a player hurt for the Wolfpack. And this is where I wish I had my computer because
This is Miller.
it looked like
Oh, the running back?
Farmer came over the top and just launched himself at the running back and speared.
Did they call?
They called there's a flag on the play, and I'm pretty sure that's targeting.
Did they have that in high school, targeting?
Yes, they do. He could be out of the game because I think he broke his helmet. Even I think that's why he's out right now. But Leslie Farmer's a hard-nosed kid. He stands about 5'10" and weighs 220. He's a solid block of human, and he came way over the
Targeted.
top. He may be ejected from the football game.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and that's a terrible play. It's not a legal play. That's a play that they're trying to get out of football. There's nothing textbook about that. That's not what we're taught. Yeah, I think he should be ejected.
He looks legit shook down there right now.
Oh yeah, I mean Farmer
I
jumped
can't-
over the
yeah.
top, and it was helmet to helmet, and that's a scary play. And there's no reason to make that play. And Vanguard is known historically for making some really terrible post play penalties. It cost them the regional finals several years ago, and thankfully this young man's getting up. But it'll be first and 10 from the 15.
I tell you what, if Miller is half as tough mentally as he's a tough runner, we'll probably see him back in this game.
I don't
later
think
on.
so. I don't
He'll
think
be
so.
all right.
Yeah, tomorrow he won't. He'll have one of those headaches. All right, but here we are. We're 9:41 into the second quarter. Still no score. Westport is knocking on the door, but after that huge 15-yard penalty by Westport, we'll see if Farmer's allowed back into the football game. We'll keep you posted on that. We didn't get a signal of any kind that the player was ejected. I think Steve Rim wants more of a conversation. Even though the teams are lined up, the Whitecap's going to go talk to Steve Rim. And let's be clear, this is one of the better officiating crews in the county.
Yeah, no. So far they've been calling a pretty good game. As we got a good game last week. It was just week one.
Last week was good.
It was just
Good right here.
it was just week one when they played Bellevue at the Ricky Howard crew where it was atrocious.
Is he coming
So
out now?
Farmer's back in the football game, number 15. A little surprised by that.
I think they're taking him out right now.
Yep, he's out. He's been ejected. And again, that's the right call. He should have been suspended last week. He got it overturned. But, you know, that's a play that it's not acceptable in high school football or any level of
Is
football,
he-
Kaz. That's not something any coach has ever taught.
Is he any relation to Coach Farmer?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know.
yeah. Distant cousin. I formation. They're going to give it to Hopkins. He rolls up the middle, stumbles, ball comes out.
He was down.
But they're going to say he was down.
He was.
Great hook there by the offensive line, led by Cotney, who just moved that line.
Cotney, I think, is going to be one of the better linemen to come out of this county. I mean, I've had him when he was in seventh grade, and he was just phenomenal.
Well, and Hopkins, he shot through that hole like a bullet. I mean, he was not slowing down.
But again, I ask, which way did they run?
Right up the middle.
Left.
2nd and 5.
Left.
I formation, 2 wideouts, but they're all uptight. One to the top. They're going to give it again. Same play right up the middle, Kaz.
could have cut it outside.
Hopkins is going to be knocked forward.
The hole was
They'll be
open
just
outside.
shy of the first down.
It was. What's happening is they still are running to the left, like Coach Cass said, and it appears Hopkins is looking for the cutback. is
Yeah,
what's going
it's
on.
not there. The cutback's on the outside. But what I'm surprised with is how Westport is dominating the line of scrimmage.
And again, the penalties.
I'm really surprised, because they're coming off the ball and holding their blocks and doing a good job.
Again, they're not trying to throw the football anymore, and I think that's the key. They got to run the football. Let Brooks lead Hopkins. They're going to do a
Sweep.
toss sweep, and it's fumbled, and it's going to be recovered by Vanguard. Hopkins has to get better hands.
I tell you
That hit him right in the hands.
That is devastating for Westport High
Yeah.
School. That is just, and I'll say this, I don't agree with that play call there. I would have not put that type of risk out there.
Well, it's a simple toss play. The thing is, that probably could be the turning point of the whole game.
Yeah.
They had opportunity to score, they failed, and now, you don't know what Vanguard will come up.
Why run the toss when you haven't really been able to get outside all night?
And you're thinking 4 downs the whole way.
Yeah.
All right, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Knights. They're going to move from our right to our left. 8:15 left to go here in the first half.
Well,
Law, I don't think either team's really done much offensively throwing the ball. I think Law's completed one
if it
pass.
was me personally, I'd go ahead and throw a deep one right now.
You see if you can get Rucker.
Change of
Rucker's being covered by Hopkins.
Well, and they have Rucker in the slot,
Yeah.
so he's not out wide. He's in the slot here.
And so Law's going to hand it off in a delayed handoff to Betterson. He breaks the tackle. He's got 10. He'll have the first down. I think that's only the second first down of the game for Vanguard here in the first
play
half.
on that draw.
And that's
Opened it up for him.
Elijah Hopkins, who actually chased him down from the defensive back position.
Betterson made a great run there. He put his foot in the ground and changed directions in a
Missed
heartbeat.
tackle, but now that one play could change the whole game.
First and 10, 2 wideouts each way. Law looks to the left, tries to fire to the slant
Well,
to Rucker, and that didn't work.
That was well covered. If he'd have thrown it to Rucker, number 20 or whatever his number is right there would have picked it off.
Number
Yeah,
20,
22.
22, Trey Stokes.
They
Yeah.
had him bracketed pretty good.
But it was really Elijah Hopkins who was on the coverage.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I haven't.
They had him bracketed.
They had him bracketed. They had somebody inside.
I
of
have
him.
not been impressed with Law tonight.
No, he's been, you can tell. Well, it's hard when you're on your butt most of the game, but 2 wideouts each way. He's going to look to his left. He's got a man in the flats and throws it way high. Intended for Tony Johnson. Not a well-thrown ball. It took too long to get there.
Like I said before the game during warm-ups, it reminds me of that Bruce Lee movie.
Well, it
Where
looks
that guy came in there and started breaking them boards, and Bruce Lee looked at him and said, "Boards don't hit back."
That's right.
It
That's
looks
what he's
like
facing
what
right
happened there. Rucker actually ran the wrong route. The coach for Vanguard was just yelling at him, getting on his case, and Rucker had his hands up in the air like he didn't know what he was doing. So it looked like we had some miscommunication going on there.
3 wideouts to the top, 1 to the bottom. Law's going to drop back. He's looking to man-on-man coverage. Intended for Tony Johnson. Poorly thrown ball. Johnson had him beat by 2 yards, but that ball's 5 or 6 yards underthrown.
And
it'll be first down for the Wolfpack on the interception.
And that's number 24, who we still don't know who that is.
Strickland.
Is it Strickland?
All right, we're going with Strickland.
We'll go with Strickland. If there's any listeners out there that want to help us with who number 24 is, since he's not on the roster, but the kid is making some football plays tonight.
Hey.
So if anyone could confirm what number 24's name is for us, we'd love to give him some love and some credit.
I will tell you, if that falls incomplete, I don't think the Knights could have punted it that far. So it's not quite a great punt, but it'll be first and 10 for the Wolfpack here. Ball sits at the 45. Buster's going to come in I formation.
Cedric Strickland. We just got
Good job.
confirmation. Cedric
I
Strickland.
formation for Buster. He's going to send Velasquez in motion. He's going to set up to the left side. They're going to hand it to Hopkins, who runs right up the middle. Only gets 2 points, or 2 yards, I'm sorry. And that'll set up second down in a long 8.
Who's 72 for Westport?
Ramey.
Ramey's doing a heck of a job.
Ramey's up.
I just got an updated roster.
Ramey is a tough
roster
son of a gun.
that Galen gave to us is.
It's off max preps. How hard is it for coaches to load their roster to max preps? It literally takes 2 minutes. Last year I did it for Farmer. I said, just give it to me. Give me your password. I'll do it right now while I'm in your office. And I did. And then from then on I had the right roster. And it doesn't help that before the game the kids switched uniforms. Come on. They've never broadcasted a game. It'll be second and 9 now, I formation. Brooks is a fullback for Hopkins. Fumble snap. Buster picks it up.
Heads up play.
You know what?
by
That was
Buster.
almost a fumble Rooski. He picked up 3 yards. It'll be third down and 8-7. Is that a play that they call?
Yeah.
No, that was a fumble.
That was a
snap.
fumble, but you know what? That's
a heads up play by.
that's just Buster being a playmaker. I mean, he's got good awareness. He's not one of those guys that's gonna give up when shit hits. Oh, sorry, when the crap hits the fan. But
Can't take you anywhere. All right, here we go. It's after a certain hour or something.
we're about to get fined on the radio after that one.
I've said worse. Trust me. All right,
And I'm trying to be good.
All right. Yeah, Cass, this is the longest I've ever seen you speak
I
without
don't
dropping something.
talk like that.
I formation, 2 tight end set with a bunch to the left. They're going to do a toss sweep. Hopkins holds on to it, tries to get to the first down. It'll be close. They'll pick up 2. It'll be 4th and 3. Decision time again for Steve Rim.
Well, Hopkins got to come out because his helmet came off. And the one thing I don't like that Hopkins is doing, and we talked about the play that he fumbled, he's running to the left carrying the ball in his right hand.
And that's number
And that causes fumbles right there, and I think that's why he fumbled. Should have it on his outside arm.
Well,
And I think that's what happened on that sweep with the fumble.
Well, that was a nice play by number 6, Sergio Gunsby for Vanguard. I mean, he was kind of in the middle of a pile there and was able to clothesline the runner down to force a 4th down here.
So it will be 4th down, but we are at the water break. If you're just joining us, shockingly no score, lots of turnovers, 2 each way, no real air game by any team. The bulk of the yardage has been gained by the penalty, even though it's been a well-officiated game. Just hasn't been a lot there offensively. And I think that goes to just talk about the strength of Westport as their line, and the strength of Vanguard is their defensive team. And it looks like Leslie Farmer's going to come back into the game at middle linebacker, number 15.
So he was only suspended for
They
series?
sent him off. I don't know if that's because of a helmet violation or something. And we'll never know.
Well, they called targeting, I thought.
They sure did
But I don't
call
know the high
targeting.
school rules.
That's as brutal as I've seen. A kid wasn't on the ground, but he was obviously helpless.
It's 2020. You get sent home for testing negative for COVID, but you don't get sent home for targeting. So.
I don't understand that. But anyway, he's back in the game, 4th and 2. John Ivory with us on the commentary. I formation. Hopkins is the deep man. Looks like the Knights are going to blitz, and there's a false start on the left tackle.
That was
it tackle?
Yeah, it was a left tackle. It looked
But
like
I know the
Rainey
running back
picked-
moved a little
It
bit.
looked like the running back.
Rainey
But the
picked up
running
his
back
head.
could be set for a second once he moves.
Rainey picked up his head,
Okay.
and that'll be, instead of 4th and 2, it'll be 4th and 7.
Yeah.
And they're still going to go for it.
Another brutal mistake
Yeah.
by Westport High School.
I formation, 2 wide receivers to the top. McCarson's the tight end, set up to the right side. Buster looks to the top, fires a go route, looking for a man, and it's going to be incomplete. You almost wish that was picked off. It would have been a great punt.
Yeah, great coverage there by Emil Sanko. And quite honestly, I think he could have picked it off, and that may have been on purpose not to pick it off, like you're saying, because he picks that off and goes down. It kind of ends up to be a punt.
Well, this will be the best field position of the night for the Knights. It'll be 1st and 10 with the ball sitting right at the 43-yard line
Now,
on the
guys,
Knight side.
let's see if Vanguard actually decides to slow it down a little bit. I mean, this hurry-up offense just does not work. When you've got disarray on the offensive line, you don't have rhythm going with your quarterback. The hurry-up is not going to work. In essence, it's going to be the death of them if they keep doing this tonight.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Law and his boys. 2 wideouts each way. Tony Johnson's to the bottom, spread out wide. Randall is going to be the running back, set up to Law's right. They're going to give it to Randall. He heads over the left side, breaks the tackle, spins it outside. He's over the 50, into the 40. Huge gain into Wolfpack territory. Knocked out of bounds at the 31. Big run there by
That was a
Randall.
good run there. Wide open. Which way did they run it?
They ran it to the left.
Okay.
And I will say this too. You got to give credit to the receiver out wide in the slot, Tevin Williams.
Yeah.
He had a great block on the edge there, which is really what made the big yards there at the end.
1st and 10 Law. They're going to give it to Randall again. He heads up the middle. Nice haul there. Jukes bounces it outside, keeps his foot, breaks 2 tackles before he's knocked out of bounds
That's
right
a
at the
great run.
20-yard line.
Poor tackling.
1st down, Knights, as they figured out the running game is working. And it looks like they're following my man Spencer, number 72, the left tackle, making some holes out there.
You know, Westport's just getting tired right now. They have a lot of guys going both ways, and they're missing tackles. It's just flat
Well,
out
the
what's
thing
going
is,
on
at least
here.
Vanguard has stayed with something.
Yeah.
And they're execute.
Well, there's not many.
Now, I hope you don't run left, right on the same play, but, one play you ought to just keep running. They haven't stopped it yet.
They're
And
going
the
to say
back keeps on coming to the left because that's where they're weak at.
they're going to say he's just shy of the marker. Are they going to bring in a? Now the officials are going to talk about it. But Spencer on the left side there made a nice not cut block, but open field for that cutback lane.
Well, I tell you, Tyrell Randall, the running back for
Oh, he's
Vanguard,
great.
he's a big boy. I mean, he's
stud.
no slouch. I mean, he's a bruiser out there.
He had good balance, kept his feet, and did a good job breaking tackle. He must have broke
You should see him play basketball. He plays basketball like he's playing defensive end. He just tries to bully everybody. tries to dunk on you no matter how many people are underneath the basket. 1st and 10. They're going to give it back to Randall. Big hole up the middle. He's going to pick up another 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Ball's going to be marked at the 15 with 4 something left to go here at Booster Stadium. No score.
I tell you, and thank goodness for Larry Brooks there for Westport, because if he's not there for the open field tackle, that's probably a touchdown.
But now the line seems like they got their stuff together.
They're
and
just
doing a good
blocking
job
down and
blocking.
making everything really simple. Just man on man and not even trying to zone block or anything else. They're just putting a hat
They're
on
blocking hat on hat. Let
Yeah.
the back find a hole.
Yeah, and keeping it simple sometimes when you don't have the most athletic and very undersized line is the way to go.
And, like I said in the beginning, every offense has a certain play that gets your momentum back. Because you have a rhythm. It's like a quarterback. He gets a shotgun a lot of times. He starts throwing, and he just throws terrible. You put him under center, and they get their momentum back, their rhythm back. And that's where I think Law is. He's been in shotgun, you get lazy feet.
Yeah.
His feet are lazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know who touted him so good. And he got potential. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's awful or anything. But if he went under center and dropped back, I think he would get his throwing rhythm back, and then go back to shotgun. But that shotgun ruins a lot of kids.
Well,
because they
again,
just
now
flap
that
with
the
it.
running game's working, maybe they could do a play action, roll them out, give them something simple.
Well, I wouldn't. Why? They haven't stopped it yet, so why screw
No,
it up?
I agree with you there.
I mean,
2nd
right
and
now
5.
they got him under heels, and you just want to pound it. You got to get a score here.
It'll be 2nd and 5 in this Marion County battle of the Wolfpack and the Knights. Randall's going to fake it to him. They're going to throw it to the slats to Tevin Williams, who picks up 7. It's going to be knocked out of bounds by
That was a
Caleb
safe play.
Carson.
Now, that was a good throw.
Good. Yeah, that was a safe pass play, just a direct
To
strain
get
of the
some
slot
rhythm,
guy.
makes the completion,
But I
gives
tell
him
you,
some confidence.
great open field stop there by Cedric Strickland.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was McCarson.
Well, Strickland really forced him out, and McCarson cleaned it up.
There you go. 1st and 10. I think it'll be 1st and goal from the 10. 4:13 left to go. The Knights are knocking on their door. 2 wideouts each way. Rutgers in the slide on the right. Ball calls an audible. Now he's going to drop back. He's going to hand it to Randall. Huge hole to the right
hole.
side. He's going to dive in. Did he get in? No, he's going to be just short. It'll be 2nd and goal from about the 1 yard line.
Yeah, and they're still in the shotgun. Looks like they're just running a simple read play there, and he.
Well,
did
they're
get-
running a lead play, and they're just blocking down and leaving the end alone.
So now Law's going to be
Yeah, it's
underneath the
taking him
center.
out.
He's going to keep it, and he gets into the end zone.
play.
Touchdown, Knights. They draw first blood. 6-0 Knights with 3:19 left to go in the first half.
That was a well-executed drive. They had good rhythm, good tempo, and they moved the ball well. They got some confidence on that.
And they didn't pass the ball, though.
No, one pass.
One pass on that little flanker.
Yeah, it
to the-
wasn't really a
the
pass. I
flats.
mean,
it's a long handoff. I agree with you.
but I mean, you still have got to get Rucker into offense, and I don't care if you got just put him in motion and just toss him the ball, or hand it off to him and let the kid make plays.
So
He's a
Logan
playmaker.
Keene is going to come in for the extra point to try to put that 7 on there. Tony Johnson's a holder. That's going to be offsides. Nice kick there by Logan Keene, but they're going to call that dead pre-play penalty. It'll be half the distance to the goal. And I don't know why you can't just put that on, enforce that on the.
Who coaches the offense for Vanguard?
Well, Ty
I don't. It's not Munderland.
Munderland's gone. He's here tonight. He's got a headset on.
Yeah.
He's actually moved to Jacksonville. He's standing right there talking to Savion Harris and Tevin Williams over there. But not sure who's calling the shots anymore. There's the kick, and it's good. Big foot by Logan
that's
Keene.
good kick.
That's
Can't punt.
that's not something we've seen at Vanguard in a long time.
He hit the buses.
A reliable kick.
I had one last year, Logan Swift.
Yeah.
Logan Swift was a much better punter than he was kicker. Had some offers.
Well, some of the issues that Vanguard had with the kicking game in previous years is when they had a kicker, they weren't blocking, they weren't protecting the kick. I mean,
Sure.
I remember, I think it was Nkosi Perry's year where they had a ton of kicks that were blocked.
They would have won the game if they had a kicker.
Yeah.
They win that game if they have a kicker, the one that's right here. He lost 2. Yeah, that didn't help. They didn't have much of
They
a
didn't have a long
snapper.
snapper either. Yeah.
All right, so the Knights take the lead. It's 7-0 here, late in the second quarter.
How much time's left?
3.
Is that right? Is that correct? All right.
Yeah, the clock is sometimes right. It's like every other clock, twice a day. And back deep is going to be Elijah Hopkins. Let's see if he can get his hand on the ball. Also, Buster is back there as well. This is going to go to Hopkins. Big kick. It's going to be picked up by Buster at the 10. He breaks over the left side. Needs to get out to the edge, but he's brought down right at the 25. It'll be 1st and 10. Wolfpack.
And I am getting word from my good friends from the 352 Pigskin Report, who's texting me, who's listening to the show.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, we got someone listening. Great. But the offensive coordinator for Vanguard is DeWitt Betterson.
Oh, okay. It's his Betterson's dad. Yeah, he's been on the staff for a while. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Wolfpack, and let's see how the offense responds. This is the worst field position they've had all night.
Worst field position they've had all night, and that's not good for an offense that's kind of defunct right now.
Well, he needs to go ahead and try to get out of the half at 7-0. That means he needs to get about 3 or 4 first downs on this drive.
So Buster's going to be
anything quicker.
Buster's going to be underneath the center. I formation. Hopkins is a deep man. Buster looks to the left. He's under pressure, and he's pulled down. And that'll be a 6-yard sack. And the Knights are starting to put that pressure onto Westport.
Now, do we know how many timeouts the Knights have right now?
I don't think they've called any. That's not something that the clock management is not one of the Knights' strong suits historically. 2nd and 17 now for Westport. Ball's all the way back inside their own 20. I formation. 2 wideouts to the bottom, 1 to the top. Buster's going to hand it off to Hopkins, who's met in the backfield, and he'll be brought down. They're going to try
You
to
probably
move
need to
ahead.
call a timeout right now.
Yeah,
And it'll be 3rd down and 14. And Steve Rim's calling a timeout.
No, I think
Vanguard
is.
No, Westport. Oh, now they switched it over.
Yeah.
Farmer just called the timeout.
That's a good timeout. He got 2.5 minutes to go. Hold him here on 3rd down. It could be a passing, which will stop the clock, and then he'll get good field position.
Yeah, there's a big play here for the Wolfpack because we know they cannot punt very well. And it's 3rd and long, Cavs. What do you dial up here?
I'm running the ball. And
make him use another timeout.
Make him use another timeout. And, Vanguard's got an opportunity here to go up 14-0 before the half. It's amazing that you have a game that has just been pretty much a stalemate until the last few minutes of the half.
It's exactly what it's been. An absolute stalemate up until that last possession where the Knights just marched the football right down the field. And there's been turnovers. It's not been a pretty game by any stretch of the imagination.
I will point out on that timeout, Jody Drain actually went to the huddle. I mean, is Coach Drain dialing something up for Vanguard? What's going on here?
He probably gave him some water.
I think Larry Fuqua from the announcer booth may have called something down to him and said, "Hey, I think this is what we got to do here on defense." So
I've called many a game with Mr. Fuqua. He's been in your shoes, boys. I formation for the Wolfpack. They're going to hand it to Hopkins. He's going to run right up the middle. He's got 4. That'll keep the clock moving and make it 4th and 9.
Yeah, they'll call another timeout.
You would think so here. And again, another big 4th down for the Wolfpack.
All right, so Vanguard will get the ball pretty good field position with 1 timeout left. So we'll see how well they move the ball. And they still got time to run the ball because it didn't take them 2 minutes to run the last drive.
Well, and I tell you too, with as atrocious as the punt game has been for Westport, don't count out something crazy happening here, like a fumble, block punt, bad snap. The punter being too worried about kicking the ball to Rucker, and it ends up being a dud to the sideline like the last one.
Kick it offside of his foot.
Do you rugby style here?
I discussed that with Steve over the weekend. I said, why not go in and throw in the rugby punt? What do you have to lose at this point?
Well, sometimes when you do the rugby punt, you kick it about 5 feet off the ground, and you'll hit your center in the back of the head, like we saw that one punt over here.
It's not a good look, is it?
It's not consistent.
Well, I tell you, Rucker, he's just got to be itching to make a big play. I mean, he's been non-existent on offense because Vanguard hasn't been able to figure out a way to get him the ball, and he's just like, well, I guess the only way I'm going to make plays tonight is on special teams. So I think regardless of where the ball goes, he's going to try to do something with it here.
Well, Rucker is deep, and they do have the kicker in the freshman. And there's a lazy punt. Terrible
There's your
punt.
rugby kick.
It went out of bounds, does it? It's all the way up to the 47. I don't know why Westport fell on that. Had another 2 yards in that roll.
That right there is a teaching moment that Coach Rem has to have with his guy, number 22, Trey Stokes. I mean,
Let the clock run.
Yeah, you got to let that thing keep rolling as much as it can, and let that clock run. I mean, they probably could have got another 5 seconds off the clock there, and probably got a couple more yards back.
That's exactly right. The clock is the important thing there, not necessarily the yardage.
We'll see
but
here
the
what
clock.
they do. I wonder if they come out and start just a run, and then come back with a throw. Yep.
And they're going to roll out, and that didn't go anywhere. That was second down and long.
Yeah, heck of a play there by number 44.
Yeah. You got his
Ryan Reed, the linebacker for Westport High School, and yeah, there is a flag. It could be a hold, so we'll see.
Well, again, that's the kind of plays that I'm talking about that are just silly. And again, undisciplined football.
Holding.
And that'll be second down in the spot from the foul, 10 yards from the spot. This could be a very, very large penalty for the Knights.
They might as well huddle up and find out what they're doing.
And as a coach, Kaz, how do you stop all these penalties?
It's just what you see on the practice field. You're teaching. A lot of times a kid's getting beat real bad, and they do hold because, you could call holding every play if you wanted to. But it's just teaching them technique, and a lot of it is they got to move their feet. They don't move their feet, they end up grabbing. So, and that was a running play right there, and, it's hard to see, you run a dive and you call holding is kind of, hard to see how you can hold when you run a dive.
So Laws and shotgun. It's going to be second down and a long 20 here. 2:18 left to go in the
See
half.
that left guard just lifted his head up.
Yeah, that's Spencer.
There's
They're going to
the
hand it
draw.
to Randall. Randall's got 10. He's got 15. Breaks a tackle. He's almost at the first down.
Good play.
It'll be second down and short. They got that yardage back in a hurry.
Yeah, heck of a run by Randall there. I mean, he found the hole, though. You could have probably fit a tractor trailer.
That
through
thing
that
was
hole.
wide open. Let's see if he throws the ball here. Something
They're going to
quick
go
screen.
quick. 1:57 left to go here in the half.
Quick
Law's
screen.
going to
There
throw a
you
little
go.
screen to Tevin Williams. He makes one man miss. He's got a first down. He'll get inside the 40, and the clock will
Okay,
stop.
hurry up and get into play.
Well, and I know I've been pretty critical of the hurry-up offense, but it's moments like this where the hurry-up offense is good. You're used to it. You know you can run it, and 2-minute situation. This is good that they have this.
Laws in shotgun. He's going to give it to Randall. Heads up the middle. Breaks a tackle. Breaks two. He's up to the 30. Rolls around.
But this-
He's going to be marked down right at the
This
30-yard
here
line.
is something you practice. You practice 2-minute offense. I remember '94 we were playing Buchholz. You remember the Buchholz game? We had not done.
Arguably the greatest game ever played at Booster Stadium.
We had not done. I'll tell you
They're
after
going to
this
give it
play.
to Patterson. He heads over the right side. He's got enough for the first down, maybe. It'll be 1:12, and the clock continues to roll.
Well, going back to that Buchholz game, we had not worked, and I had an experienced group back. When after Von Keith got the interception or whatever, they were
This is
going to punt to us.
1996, by the way.
94.
94, I'm sorry, 94.
Yeah, Doug Johnson was a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
And I called them to the sideline and said, all right, when we get the ball, we remember, because we hadn't worked on 2-minute offense that year, but they knew it last year. So I just reminded them, hey, you remember when we did this, and they
Patterson
said, yeah.
runs it up the middle. He's hit.
That's
he
not,
tries to
that's
play
not
the
a good
guy,
play right there.
and that'll be second and long.
Larry Brooks on the big tackle
Yeah.
there.
So we went over there. They punted to us. We ran a 2-minute offense we hadn't run in a year of practice. We took it down there and hit Rashad in the corner for a touchdown to win.
That call, and I told Dante this, that call got me a job with Sunshine Sports. So, how about that?
Well, when we caught
Rashad
it,
Jones got a
we
touchdown.
caught it. We ran out of
39
bounds. We threw one to Chewy. Chewy lined everybody up, and then we hit Rashad. And
Yep.
we were down there and
Well,
scored.
and again, it happened to the end zone to
But
our right.
that's when you have a veteran group that knows that, and it's something we practice a lot. But we didn't practice that year. The year before we practiced it.
So Dante calls it. He rolls out to the right. everybody's covered and in my call because it was important to me. Dante's got nothing. Now he looks and fires. Shot Jones got a touchdown.
He
It was a
threw
great
between
call.
four pairs.
He sure did.
Hands.
And it was a rifle.
Now,
A rifle.
I just did get clarification from the scorekeeper here that it is 39 seconds. It keeps flipping back to 19. It's really 39 seconds on the clock here. That
Well,
Vanguard.
Dante had the same clock, so
no timeouts for Vanguard now. No
Right.
timeouts left, and they got the ball on the Westport 29.
Well, they're going to have to throw something maybe to the inside receivers on an out route.
well they
Go
have
ahead and stop the
they
clock.
have
They got to
four
put the
of
ball
them.
downfield, kick,
They have
get
four
out
of them.
bounds.
It's
And you got one-on-one all the way up top. So see what he does.
Ball's
Ronaldo is
going
the
to have to
running
make
back.
a play finally. Let's see.
Rawls drops back. He's going to look. He's under pressure. He rolls out.
He's got
gonna,
running room.
He fires it downfield. He's got him in the
Nice
end zone. Trevante Rucker right at the goal line. They're going to say it's a touchdown. Knights. What a catch by Ruck as he plants it in the end
That was a
zone.
great throw. He threw back shoulder. He really underthrew him. Rucker made a great play coming back to the ball.
Yeah, you know that Strickland had Rucker covered, but that was just Rucker being the
Rucker.
great player that he is. I mean,
Because the ball was underthrown. He just came back.
He just
like
came back to
back
it.
shoulder,
Yeah.
and he did a heck of a job. That hurts now going into halftime.
Well, again, I think one of you guys said that at some point Rucker's going to have to make a play. That was it right
Yeah.
there. That's the kind of player that Rucker is. And I may have to cheer for Florida next year.
well, you know,
Maybe.
Rucker just has great football.
Kick is good. 14 to
Rucker's
nothing.
always been successful at any level he's
He
played.
just has very good football awareness.
Yeah.
And he's got what I call that killer instinct, where he's going to try to make
He makes plays.
something
He's a
out of
playmaker.
nothing, you know?
He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this, for a guy with his talent that's been recruited the way he has since he was a sophomore, he's incredibly humble. He's just a quiet kid.
Well, PJ was the same way.
yeah.
PJ Williams.
Yeah.
He committed as a sophomore, and he went through 14 months of people badgering him. But I would tell him, I said, hey, he wanted to go to Florida State since he was
Sure.
this tall,
Yeah.
and he stayed with the commitment.
Paid off for him.
And Rutgers wanted to go be a Gator and all that, and that's fine.
And he did decommit at one point, and then he's back
Well,
on it. But
there was some stuff going on in the background of that when the kids. There were some issues there with the kids. One of
Yeah.
them transferred, and I talked to Rucker about that. He knew the whole story, and he didn't like what he initially heard, and then he found out what actually happened, and then he recommitted.
Yeah.
But again, special player, very, very special player. And again, you could tell he's kind of got greatness written all over him.
Well, he's always had that.
Yeah.
His whole career playing.
30 seconds left on the clock. So, yeah,
So-
the clock says 10 seconds, but the scorekeeper's telling us 30 seconds.
There you go. Logan Keene is going to kick it off. Back deep is Hopkins and Buster's to the right. Strickland's to his left. They're going to kick it right to Buster. That goes over his head. Hopkins is going to pick it up at the 1 yard line. He needs to go back to the 11. He's got a block. He's got a hole. And he's going to be brought
Good
down
tackle.
right at the 26 yard line with a photographic evidence of how to make a tackle right there. It'll be 1st and 10 here for the Wolfpack. I have no idea how much Klein.
Well, we're having an issue with the clock here. I think everyone thinks it's halftime.
Now
but
it
it's
says
really,
9 minutes.
But it's really not.
9 seconds.
That says 9 minutes.
It sounds to me like the Bellevue. It sounds to me like the Vanguard Booster Club is going to have to come out of their pockets and get this scoreboard
If you,
fixed.
Larry, they bought helmets.
I don't know.
They
what
bought
to do.
helmets and they bought a weight room.
Yeah.
This is actually, it's not the requirement of the school because this is a county-run field. The county needs to just demolish the locker room. If you haven't been in a locker room in 30 years,
Hey,
it has not changed. It's
I
the
want to
same
tell you one
carpet.
thing. It took me 3 years going through all this. First of all, they told me I wasn't in code. I would put air conditioning on the home side.
Yeah.
Took me 3 years to do that. They said the building wasn't on code. The whole building, it should have been torn down because
Should
it's
have
not
been
on code.
condemned, yeah.
And you deal with these idiots over there, and it took me 3 years to get, yet they go ahead and ask for a PO for North Marion for all those new stadium lights and everything, and they didn't have a PO.
Yeah.
And we had to go through. It was unreal. We had to go through to get air conditioning in there.
Yeah, it's amazing. And again, if you haven't walked into the
It
bathrooms.
is halftime.
Yeah, it is halftime because the band's coming out. But if you haven't walked into the bathrooms at Booster, Your life isn't complete if you live in Marion County. It's terrible in there. We used to come, again, my son played soccer, and my wife would be like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. I said, well, you're probably going to need to go home.
You're better off going to that.
She hadn't been in there.
Let's be honest.
Better off going to
She
that.
walked in there, and she goes, why did you let me go in there? And I told her, Aaron James.
Hey, but you know what? There really is no better place to play than Booster Stadium.
Oh, no.
Best
I mean,
field.
this is the best atmosphere in Marion County.
You know how many great games they've had?
Well, you've got the concession stand right there, the
Yeah.
smoke coming out. You've got the stands are right on the
Do you
field, so
remember-
the fans are right over the players. I mean, it doesn't get any better than
Do you
this.
remember the pepper sausage dogs that Mr. Yancey used to make?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's as good as life got right there. I mean, as long as you don't have to go to the bathroom.
Is the boiled
This place
peanut?
is
Is
great.
the boiled peanut guy still here?
I haven't seen him in a
I
long
haven't
time.
seen Peanut Man.
or did COVID retire him too?
I
I
don't know
don't
if he's
know.
allowed in.
But we had, I tell you what,
All right, we'll talk
back
about
in the
Booster.
day, they used to have the jamboree here. Remember all
Oh,
county
the
come?
whole county.
This place was packed.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And everybody played a quarter. They played 2 quarters.
We used to
I
have to
think.
park people back on the track.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about it. We've all been here a long time. What's your most favorite game ever played at this field?
Oh, I can go on that one because
Let's
this is a game that I was a part of.
Okay.
And it was when I played at Bellevue High School my senior year. It was 2002, and we had a 3-way shootout for the district championship on a Monday night between Bellevue, Forest, and Vanguard High School. It doesn't get any better than that.
I'll tell you what, and I know Richard Wilson, who I play golf with. He's official. They fumbled. We had to fumble. Our guys running with the ball. We're playing at Bellevue, and our guys running with the ball. Deshaun Green, I'll tell you who it was.
All right.
And he's over there looking for the ball pointed to Bellevue. We got to come back in Monday night and beat their butt.
All right, so I love
For
it.
him, it was a good game, but to us, it was a
Listen,
annoyance because we got
Cavs
to come
was a
back and beat
Vanguard.
them on a Monday.
So
go ahead.
no, we beat Vanguard that year during the regular season.
That's why. I'm telling you.
That's why you crushed you guys.
didn't crush us.
It was like a 41-14 game.
Well, I wasn't there. Was I there?
You
It
were,
wasn't
no,
me.
you were at Westport then.
This is
Okay.
02.
You're getting a little dementia here.
No. Because I remember you said we got to come back and play.
No. So this was 2002. You were at Westport High School as the head coach there.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but no, we had beat Vanguard that year 41-14. We lost to Forest 13-0, and Forest lost to Vanguard. So we had a 3-way shootout. Forest.
How'd y'all do against Westport?
Oh, we crushed y'all.
2002?
No, yeah, 2002. That was my senior year. That was the year you guys had your oldest kids were juniors.
Nah, I think we beat our junior. I don't know.
But
Go ahead.
anyways,
It's story time.
Yeah,
John
so-
Ivory.
yeah.
This is John Ivory.
Yeah, it's Coach Castillo if he wants to interrupt
Come
me
on.
again. Who
I
knows?
know.
But,
Is it
Okay, Camilla.
so anyway, so we all meet on a Monday night. Forest had the 1 seed because they had the best record. So it started off Bellevue versus Vanguard. We beat Vanguard with ease. And then we go on to the second round for 1 quarter to play Forest. And we went for a stalemate for 1 quarter, 0-0. And it ends up going to overtime. We get the ball first. We actually went with a Wildcat type offense with a runner at quarterback. We ended up scoring. Forest gets the ball. It's 4th down. They need a score. They throw a slant pass to Steven.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Cody Wells.
This and now he remembers.
I was a spectator that game.
It was the hit.
It was
from
the hit.
around the
Oh
world.
my gosh.
Cody Wells at free safety, who, if you don't know who Cody Wells is, probably one of the all-time greats to come out of Marion County. One of the greats.
Bellevue.
He's an SEC guy. Went to South
Bellevue.
Carolina.
No, I agree with that.
But anyway, so he comes up and hits that wide receiver so hard.
Oh, I thought he was dead.
Yeah, chin strap comes flying, earpiece,
remember
his
that.
mouthpiece. Game over. We win the ball. We win the game. We win the district championship on a Monday night. So
Now I'll tell you the
All
hardest.
right, wait.
The hardest hit I've ever seen on
Yeah.
this field. We were playing Forest, and Clymer's kid was playing quarterback, and they ran a sweep.
Yeah.
And he turned around and threw it all the way across the field, a lobby. He went up to get it, and Drayton had it. Drayton Forrest had a 30-yard run. I thought he killed the kid. If the guy wasn't wearing a vest, he hit him so hard. But my best game here is Buchholz. Without a doubt.
That to me is because it was back and forth. And in that season, I think at one point I had it counted that we had on the field between the Vanguard and the opponent, there was something like 30 NFL players that they faced throughout the season.
Oh yeah.
But that game with Buchholz had no business making it that close. And I've talked to Doug Johnson. He and I have played golf together a couple of times. He talks about that game all the time. He says we should have won that game, and if they win that game, then he thought they had a chance to win.
It must have been that offensive coordinator for Vanguard.
Well, they had an 11-point lead with 4 minutes.
They
to go.
sure did. They blew it. They absolutely
Ron Keith
blew
ran
it.
an interception. We got the ball
Correct.
back, took it in and scored, and then we got the 2-minute offense. We took it in and
Yep.
scored.
Well, I tell you,
But we had 5 shutouts that game. and
that,
we had no
that
business.
Buchholz Vanguard game is such a legendary game that when
How old were you in that game?
Oh, shoot.
10?
I mean, yeah, about 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is such a legendary game is when I used to coach at Bellevue with Philip Yancey, when Coach Yancey was the head coach there, we would have some college recruiters come in to talk, and when they would see Philip, they would always talk about the Buchholz game between Doug Johnson and Dante Culpepper.
Well, I'll tell you a better game than that.
No, there isn't one. There's
I'm
another
going to tell
good
you right
game.
now.
Not a better game.
Westport and Seabreeze. 53-52.
That wasn't here.
No, that was at Westport.
We're talking about Brewster
Okay,
Stadium,
but I'm
Coach.
talking about you asked me what the best games, but that was a game.
No,
That's
that
not
wasn't a
state
better
record for
game
most.
because of the talent level and the execution of that game between Buchholz and Vanguard. That was two teams playing at their best.
And plus, Galen didn't get to call that game either. So,
Yeah.
so Galen calling the Buchholz Vanguard game, that's what really gives it an extra notch of
Oh,
grace.
you know what made a better
I
game
was on
than that?
WMOP. I've called some
I'll
great
tell you what,
games.
one of my favorite fields to play at is Palatka. I love playing at
I-
You want a
love-
Palatka
yes,
story?
100%.
I'll tell
I
you a
agree with you,
Palatka
Coach.
story. So I'm working at WMOP, right? And this is way back in the day. And I'm driving the MOP van, right? Because this is back when radio stations had money, and I made a living calling football games. And so I drive the van. We park it at Palatka, and I'm covering the Vanguard Palatka game. And before I leave, my dad said, "Good luck." Because he hated going there because they would boo him on the way in every time they see anything from Ocala.
when-
And so Williams is the running back. So this is how long it's going. That's the year they went on, and I think they won the state title that year. And so I get back to my van. I'm always like the last to leave. 4 flat tires. They slashed my tires because Vanguard, I may have been forced, won the football game. And they were just not having it. They slashed my tire. I'm stuck. This is pre-cell phone days. I didn't have a credit card, nothing. And I called the other radio station, and thankfully, they picked up the van, towed it to one of their sponsors, and got my wheels fixed. Got home at about 6 in the morning.
Well, listen,
So I don't go to Palatka.
I have a similar Palatka story. 2001, when I was at Bellevue, we beat them 7-6, and Palatka had the way better team than us that year too. I couldn't believe that we won that game, but they actually had to escort our band out with the cops. They were throwing rocks and garbage at our
Yeah,
band,
yeah.
and they actually forced us. We had to stay in the locker room until everyone was gone. We couldn't leave
When we played-
until everyone was
they would block the buses.
Yeah,
When
They
we
would
played
block the
over there, when we
buses.
played over there in '94, Jermaine Williams came out. And they thought he was Dante because Jermaine was what 6'10", and they were throwing popcorn stuff at him and everything. He was all upset. Why are you throwing this stuff at me? Because they thought. But that was a great game.
That was a good game.
It was a good
that
game.
was a good game.
Johnny broke it open with a kickoff.
He sure
return.
did.
But
He sure
that's
did.
probably the worst beating they had on that field.
It wasn't
Until
a-
we went 2 years later and shut them out.
there weren't too many bad games that mythical 1994 season. You know, and that had been the 3rd year in a row that I covered Vanguard. And so by then, you know, the staff knew me. Cass would ignore me. I talked to Yancey all the time. You know, all the players would come up and talk to me. But because Cass, back in then, he was a wild man. Wild man on the sideline.
now- and-
I could hear him from up here on the sideline screaming. He is calm now.
I will note it's actually starting to rain a little bit here.
It's Florida. That's just
It's a drizzle, but hey, could this play a little bit of a
No.
new element into the
No.
game?
no, not with these two teams. You cannot live in this part of the world and not
It's
be able
not
to
like
deal
they're
with rain.
throwing the ball.
No, or they're at least not throwing it effectively.
Yeah.
Let's be.
Well, I guess
let's
what-
rephrase that.
Let's get back to the game.
Neither team is throwing the ball effectively tonight.
Well, and let me recap. If you're just joining us, we are at halftime. It's 14-0 Knights. The Knights have scored twice. Law on a 1-yard TD sneak at the goal line, and Trevante Rucker with a beautiful catch, and that's why we're at 14-0. The Wolfpack have not completed a pass.
They haven't completed the pass, but you know, they in some ways they have ran the ball effectively here and there. I think what the Wolfpack has really done well, though, is defensively. You know how they're playing on defense tonight. It took Vanguard almost an entire half to find their rhythm with about 4 minutes left in the half before they really figured out how to move the ball in the running game.
Well, and adjustments are huge.
Yeah, Westport got a little tired there second right there because they were missing tackles.
Yeah,
they were making good tackles really for a quarter and a half, and now they started missing some. They're tired.
And I mentioned that pregame.
Yeah.
They don't have the depth right now. They don't have the depth with all these guys.
Not having Gavin is a big.
He's a difference maker.
Yeah.
Because what he does is he spreads out that load.
But
he's proven that he can stay in the pocket and make that tough throw. Buster can't make that throw.
And it would have made Vanguard respect the pass. They're not respecting the pass at all. They have 8 guys in the box, and Rucker at safety plays.
That is how the Vanguard Knights play defense. They play a lot of man.
Only thing they
don't double cover anybody.
Westport can do is just throw a straight ball deep.
Yeah.
Right.
They can't run curls. They can't do anything like this. That takes a lot of your offense. They can't even hit the inside receiver out in the flat.
So we are coming to the end of the half. You know, at some point, we need to discuss the greatest football team to ever come out of Marion County. Because I'm going with Dunellen. I'll just tell you that right now.
I didn't see Dunellen play.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna go
The
with the
80s
I'm gonna go with-
I don't know.
I'm gonna go with the '94 team.
I can't say who the best team is because I haven't been around.
Well,
as
you're
long
so
as
young.
you old timers, but
You're so young.
But I'll tell you this: the most famous team to ever come out of Marion County is a team that didn't even win the state championship, and it's the '94 Vanguard High School.
I mean,
Who lost to the #1 team in the nation?
Yeah. So
God, that was such a great game. And Kaz, every time we see each other, we talk about that 4th down play in Daytona Beach where Dante Culpepper was a good yard and a half short.
Nah, he was there.
Hey, but
By the way, everybody who says I'm from Ocala, they're Vanguard and they're football fans, they go, yeah, Dante didn't get that first down.
Yeah, he did. I was standing
I agree
right
with
there. I was standing
I
right
know.
there.
This is why we argue over it. Makes it great.
What did the official
I was
what
a
did the
wrong-
official call?
Oh, yeah, it was a first down.
Okay,
That was
well,
the
yeah,
first
hey,
spot of all time.
and you say those Denellen teams. What about those teams from Forest in the '70s? Now back-to-back state championships.
Scott Brantley
One
and
of those
John
teams
Brantley.
were undefeated.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
it's hard
8
to-
of those guys played football in the SEC. Nobody even remembers, Kirk, who ended up playing cornerback.
He went to Alabama.
He
Yeah, went to Alabama. Won a national title.
Well, and the other thing
Played
is
for Bear
too,
Bryant.
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't remember too is how good Forest was, really going all the way into the '80s during that span.
Well, they had
there
the
was
Tyrone Young era.
Well, I was actually told by someone who was part of those teams. They said that team with Tyrone Young was probably the best team that Forest ever. They say they were better than those 74-75 teams.
Tony Kaysen, if Tony Kaysen doesn't get hurt in 1987, Forest High School wins the state title. You will not change my mind. They beat Emmett Smith in that game.
They didn't beat him.
No, they would have if Tony Kaysen hadn't
No.
broken his ankle.
Emmett Smith had like 300 yards.
He had 256. I called that game.
Yeah, so I mean, they didn't stop him all
I
night.
was a junior in high school, and I called that game. Yeah.
Dwight told me that was one of the easiest games they had in the playoffs.
He probably did. He probably did. That's Coach Steve. Oh, my God.
You want to hear a great story about Dwight Thomas real quick?
Oh, boy.
So as you know, Dwight Thomas no longer in coaching. He does with the Exos, with the scouting stuff.
He does a tremendous job.
Yeah,
Does
but
a great job.
Dwight, he was at a coach's clinic, and they said he was the topic was they wanted to ask him about what it took to build a great program to win a state championship. And they said, no lie, what he did is he stood up. He goes, you guys want me to tell you what it takes to win a state championship? Here's what it takes. And he pops in a highlight tape of Emmett Smith into the TV and walks off the stage.
There you go. Back then, I mean, Emmett's the all-time NFL rusher. All right, so here we go. Starting off the second half, the ball falls off the tee. And we really should talk about best high school football player we ever saw. But we have a whole season of Cass.
That could be another day.
So Seidel is going to be the kicker here.
Well, it's going to be a big
that
series.
That is going to be Rucker.
It's going to be a
They
big
took it away
series
from
right
him.
here. You know,
It's
see
going
if
to be
Vanguard
picked
can
up by
maintain.
Kevin Williams. He heads over the left side and brought down by his own player. That didn't work. And it looks like the player got kicked in the head and he's going to be hurt.
Yeah, that's number 6, Sergio Gunsby, who's down on the play.
Sergio Gunsby last year during the playoffs just became a beast for the Knights and was all over the place. And
This is both series for first team for the first both teams.
well, the score is 14-0 here as we just start the third quarter.
Westport needs to stop, and I think Vanguard needs to build off the momentum they got from the end of the first half. So see what they come out and do. See if they come out and start running, did what they did, or try to throw the ball. And
Well, let's see what they've got to get some movement going on the offensive line. They figured out something with that delayed handoff. So they're going to call the play, put the clock in motion. They're going to keep it tight end now, and they're going to run the running back.
Well, they got to win.
Oh, that's Pedersen. The ball comes out, but they're going to say he was down. And is there a flag on the play? It looked like Savion Harris and Leonard Hill.
Well, they had a wing back over there, and they ran a
Velasquez.
trap with the wing back. They ran a little counter and used the wing back to kick out the end. So that was a well-designed play.
Velasquez and Harris were scuffling over there. There's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be offsetting on both of them. They were over there scuffling, throwing
Holding.
Offense, Savion Harris.
So that must be why Velasquez was so upset, because Harris was holding him on the play.
He did have to pull his shirt down.
Yeah.
His shirt was up by his chin strap. Savion Harris, tough football player. Tough football player.
Well, we got 2 tough football players out there between him and Velasquez going at it. So
By the way, Savion Harris would have been the quarterback if Law doesn't transfer. Little nugget for you.
Does they have that wing formation?
Yeah, they're going to keep that extra tight end.
And they're going to bring him and see if they kick him out. Now they're
going to give it to Pedersen. He heads over the right side. He trips up. Only gains 2. He had a massive hole there.
yeah, if he didn't over his own feet, he might be gone to the races.
Sir.
Hopkins or Strickland would have had to catch him from behind. Where's Strickland been? I don't remember him from previous weeks.
Maybe he's been another guy that's been a victim of COVID.
So it'll be 2nd down and 15 here for the Knights as they move from our right to our left.
Victim of something he doesn't even really have.
2 wideouts each way for Law in shotgun. He's going to throw it deep. He's got a man open, and it's dropped. Oh, he had it wide open, hit him at midfield in stride.
Yeah,
and that ball's, and he's hurt. Savion Harris looks like he went into the bench. And Steve Rim ran over, and now he's going to run off. That may be a pride thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just a simple fade route down the sideline. Savion
he's
Harris
wide open.
Had the defender burned by a good 5 yards. And Law put it on the money.
He put it on the money on that play.
That was Law's best throw of the night.
He had a nice quick release. He got rid of it quick.
Wasn't even a hitch route. It was just a straight 9. Hit him right in stride. I hope Savion's all right. Kid's getting some looks from places like FSU and some other Power 5 conferences. This is a big season for him. So they're going to bring Tevin Williams as he's going to be one of the wide receivers. They're going to do 3 wideouts to the bottom, 1 to the top. They're one guy short. And they bring Jordan in late. He's going to go up to the top all by himself. Looks like he's going to run the zebra.
Looks like his slant's open on the top.
Yeah. They don't run a lot of slants, unfortunately. So Law drops back. He fires across the middle. It's a hit right in the hands of Caden McCarson.
Wow.
You don't get a better handoff than that.
I tell you.
And that's a pick 6.
Yeah, if Caden McCarson catches that interception, he's off for a touchdown.
I do want to take this time to thank
thing.
our sponsors, McCarson Electric, for that drop pass.
I'll tell you what, that was a horrible read by the quarterback. He threw that into
Triple coverage.
at least. So, if it was my quarterback, I'd have been chewing on him because I had one-on-one over there, and I got 6 people covering 15 yards over here, and that's where he's throwing it.
You
So
know,
it'll be 4th and 15.
if I'm Westport High School, I'm bringing the house here. You got to get field position. That's your only chance in this
But
game.
you got to contain him because he's known to go outside and throw. I mean, he can
Well,
get
it's
outside.
4th down. 4th and 15.
I'm saying bring the house to block this
Okay,
punt.
block it, yeah.
And you are listening to high school football
Excellent.
right here on WOCA, the source. They do go
Almost.
after it. Great kick. Hopkins is going to pick it up at his 41. He's got a hole. He runs up the middle. He's over midfield. He's in the Vanguard territory. He's got 1 man to beat, and he's brought down from behind. The ball comes out.
He was
We're
down
going
like
to say he was down, but it was a great field position for Wolfpack. The
That was
ball
a
was
nice
spotted
run.
at the 20 or 19-yard line.
Yeah, so
He just ran.
He just ran. He ran fast. He didn't care who was coming at him. He ran out there like a bat out of hell. He fielded that from the 40-yard line and brought it all the way to
I mean,
the
he was
19.
making just cuts, and he wasn't stopping. He was just going.
And
a great
that's what
run.
you need to do on a low line drive kick like that.
Yeah.
That kick had no hang time. And
41-yard punt
Hopkins
return.
made
What
the most of
concerns
it.
me about Hopkins is he fumbles. That's 3 of them we've seen with him.
Hands are an issue.
And the
First
ball,
and 10.
it's just ball security.
First and 10. You're listening to high school football right here on The Source. I formation. They're going to send Velasquez in motion. They're going to give it to the deep man Hopkins. He tries to break it up the middle, but is hit by Leslie Farmer, and it'll be brought down after a 4-yard gain.
And just think right now, this could really be a 14-7 game if Hopkins doesn't fumble that toss play on the third down when
Yeah.
they were all the way down on the 5-yard
Exactly.
line.
Henry Dalton, just for the
Or let me correction, 14-6. They wouldn't have made the extra.
Henry Dalton absolutely pancaked the defensive end on that play. I mean, he came around and just put that kid on his butt. Nice block by the sophomore. 2nd and 6 now for the Wolfpack. I formation. Hopkins is deep. And again, the Knights are going to come at him a blitz. Hopkins has it. It's got enough for the first down. Dives ahead. He'll be inside the
Where do they run?
5-yard line.
Where do they
He'll
run?
spot at the 6.
They ran to the left, Coach. And you know what? But credit the offensive line. They're getting.
Oh, they're doing it.
They're getting a
I
really
think
nice
that's where
push.
his best players are.
Yeah.
Well,
They've been doing a good job.
They're
Rainey's over there.
allowing
isn't
Cotney
he?
to pull over there, and Ramey's over there.
I mean,
and that offensive line has played together for a long,
They are
long
playing
time.
good. They got to finish. They got to learn how to finish right here.
That left tackle for Ramey is mean, too. High formation, Hopkins gets it. He sees nothing,
that's
tries to turn around. But Leslie Farmer pulls him behind. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the
He hesitated. He should have just went outside and gone.
Westport hasn't had a viable offensive line in forever.
Oh, yeah.
During the last era, that was always the worst thing they
Hey, if
had.
you ever went to one of their practices, you'll know why their offense wasn't any good. Right, Cass? Cass
right.
used to stand with me, and we would get there early because he would want to watch Brian Maurer, and he would say, I don't know what that guy's doing. And he, the whole time just talking before practice. Offset eye for the Wolfpack. 2nd and goal from the 9. Buster drops back, fires in the end zone, has a man, and it's incomplete. That hit Hill right in the hands. A little behind him, but you got to make that catch.
Good play by the defensive
Yeah,
back.
no, that was number 20, Emil Sanko, on another great pass breakup. I mean, he's been making some great plays.
It looked
for
like the
Vanguard High
center
School.
just fell down.
Yeah.
He didn't come out.
Yeah, but Leonard Hill needs to make that play.
He's got to make that catch.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
So here we are, 3rd and goal. 8:70 according to that beautiful booster clock. By the way, I've talked to school board members. I've talked to the mayor. I've talked to the county commissioner, all on air. And they're, we have to do something about these facilities. They don't. They're going to do a toss sweep to the right to Hopkins. He's got to get the edge and break a tackle. That dives in the end zone, touchdown.
But they threw a flag there. It looks like it's a hold on Larry Brooks, number 7. He was the fullback there, and he was going out on the edge, and I think they're going to get him on a hold.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious, but Hopkins did make a nice run, and that's the only way he got the edge was because of the hold. So now we got 8:41 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. It'll be 3rd and goal from a long, long ways.
That's a tough break for Westport.
17.
I
And
mean,
again,
you
they don't
gotta
have a
learn how to
kicker. It's a
finish
2-down
drives.
territory.
You got to learn how to finish drives.
This is
Speaking
2-down
of the
territory.
offensive line with Westport, when we were there, we didn't have a good offensive line. I just had good skill. Because our offensive line might have averaged, Fabian Heath was probably the biggest guy. Everybody else was about
But
160.
you had a good quarterback, and you guys just threw a bunch of quick passes.
Yeah. Well, we didn't run up the middle. We just.
Well, you ran to the left.
I had 5 kids that could score from anywhere in the field if they touched the ball.
That's really, in high school football, you can get away with that for a
Yeah.
long time. All right, so it looks like the Wolfpack are going to come back with a tight end to the right on the near side of the field. Velasquez is to the bottom. Hopkins is the deep back. We're going to fake it to him. Buster's under pressure. He rolls out. He's going to look. Now he's going to keep it. He's over the 20 and knocked out of bounds right about the 15-yard line. Picks up 3. Nobody was open on that play.
Yeah, and I think what you got to do here, I mean, you've got about 16, 17 yards to go. You just got don't try to make Buster make a read. He's not a quarterback. He's not good enough to do that. Just throw it up to your guy Leonard Hill deep. Hopefully he makes a play. That's what you got to do.
It looked like
here.
Steve tried to flood the area up there and send a back out in the backfield, but Buster had too much pressure on him. He couldn't see it.
If they don't hurry up here, they might get a delay of game.
And the clock is running, or the clock is stopped because he was pushed out of bounds. I'm sorry. 14-0 is our score. Vanguard leads. If you're looking at the clock, they're trailing by 34. And that's going to be the delay of game. And again, I every time I'm at Booster Stadium, I feel like I have to do a public service announcement for these fields. Why can't we put in, $1 million? And if it takes a county tax, I'll press for that all the time. But they've got to fix this facility because it's such a great community place. Buster's in shotgun. He's got running backs on each side. He's looking to the end zone, fires across the middle. It's picked off. And that's picked off by Randall. He breaks the tackle. He's over the middle. He's over the 40-yard line. He's got one man to beat, and that's Isaiah Hopkins, who brings him down inside Knight territory.
And
First and 10 Knights.
And that's the difference of not having Gavin Savino tonight. Gavin's not throwing that interception, and no disrespect to Buster. Buster's in a position that he has not been practicing to be in at all. If they have Gavin Savino tonight, it could be a tie ball game.
You just can't go out there and play a team like Vanguard, and not practice the position. Now, he's their backup quarterback, but, it's just, your reads, and it's very technical. But you're right. Gavin could have made this a closer game.
Yeah.
Right now, Westport's got to really buckle up on defense, or they're going to be down 21-0.
All right, so let's see if the Knights can do anything offensively here. Their second possession of the second half. 2 wideouts each way for Law. He's going to give it to Randall, who bounces it outside, needs to get a block. He's got the edge. He's got no man in front of him. That's going to be a touchdown. Randall.
That was all the way.
Flag on the play. Holding against the offense. That's coming back. And now I think that's going to be called on Savion Harris, who's just complaining. But that'll be all the way back.
I was going to say they can't call on the O-line because the O-line didn't block anyone.
Boy, and it's on the far side of the field. I didn't see it. May have been a great call.
But again, it's just that, and like I say, you could have called holding every time. But if he threw it on that side, that's where he ran the ball, so they had to call holding.
Yeah. It was on Tevin Williams, who the actual penalty was on. So now it'll be first down and 16 for the Knights.
That was a tremendous effort on the running back.
Going back to all this COVID stuff, what do you do with all this craziness of being quote unquote exposed?
And we had gone 5 minutes, John.
Yeah, but listen. If you're a player, you just got to do virtual school from here on out. You can't risk missing any more.
I will tell you, my son and I are talking about it, and the only reason he hasn't yet is because he's in the IB program. 2 wideouts to the bottom, 1 to the top.
There's a trap.
They're going to give it to Randall again. He's got 5. He's got 6. He puts his head down and lunges ahead for 2 more. It'll be second down and 8.
They ran an inside trap, and the defensive linemen from Westport are going upfield, and he got good yardage on that.
Actually, that was Betterson on the carry.
8-yard gain, second and
I'll tell you what, Tyrell Randall, he's a kid who played at MCYFL and was a superstar there. 2 wideouts each way. He never lost a football game at MCYFL. That whole class did. Now they're going to send a man in motion. I hear Leslie McCarson in the background. He's going to fire the flats. And again, McCarson had it in his hands. I had it all set up with his mom in the background. McCarson had nothing but grass in front of him. That's his second pick six.
They ran a flood route there.
Yeah.
They ran a flood route, 3 levels, and he threw it to the short level. He did not read.
Oh.
Looking at him, I don't think he understands coverages and has any reads at all. He's just saying throw it to this guy.
You can hear
Because that's what
Leslie.
he's been doing. You understand what I'm saying?
You can hear Leslie in the background. It was perfect.
You don't roll to the short side of the field, throw that on.
Wall's dropping back. He fires in the flats. Got Tony
There's a
Johnson.
screen.
He needs to break a tackle. He's over 40. He does. He gets a first down from sheer hard work and determination.
That's great effort right there.
And that'll be
and
first
Coach
and 10
Cass,
Knights.
going back to Law not being able to make a read, I don't think we can hang that one on the Vanguard coaching staff. I mean, he literally got here, I think, a week before the season started.
Well, the play is you're running a flood with a rollout to the short side of the field.
Yeah.
That's 15 yards, and you got 3 receivers and 4 covering. 7 people in 15 yards, and you got 34 yards up top with 1 guy against 1 guy.
3 wideouts to the bottom,
That's
1 at
all
the
I'm
top
saying.
for Raw, and 1st and 10. Ball sits at the 34. They're going to give it to Pedersen.
Good ball
Pedersen
play.
breaks the tackle up the middle, puts his head down. It's got 10, it's got 12. Brought down by Buster at the 24.
And I can tell that this Westport defense, they are worn out right now.
Right now, the running backs for Vanguard are really putting the pounding on the defenders. I know their line's just blocking, but those running backs are breaking tackles and get the extra yard.
All they're doing is hat on hat. They have completely uncomplicated
Well,
this
make it simple.
offensive line.
Make it simple.
1st and 10, Raw looks to the sideline. He's not been impressive, but he's been good enough, and his wide receivers have made plays. 2 wideouts each way. They're going to give it to Pedersen again, right up the middle, and he dives ahead, picks up 7 before he's brought down by Larry Brooks.
Yeah, you know, Vanguard High School, like you said, Coach, they got the good run. They're running it to the left again, and it's been effective.
It's right behind the center.
It's to the left guard. And
All right, shotgun formation for Raw. Pedersen's the running back. Savion Harris and Tony Johnson to the bottom. Tevin Williams and Jordan to the top. Raw looks to the bottom. He's got Tony Johnson in the end zone, and it is tipped, almost caught by everybody.
So
Hopkins dropped it.
underthrew it.
Strickland dropped it.
yeah, well,
And Tony Johnson dropped
all
it.
that was a simple. They had 4 wide double slots. The outside receivers ran go routes. Inside receivers were running 10-yard out routes. He tried making a play to his receiver, Tony. Tony Johnson had it.
Hit him in the hands.
Hit him right in the
okay.
hands.
I couldn't tell.
Oh yeah.
I think it was tipped.
I don't even know if it was
Tipped
tipped.
it.
I just think Strickland is so tall and long. He just got his hands in the way of it, but he never touched the ball. It literally bounced off the face mask of Tony Johnson, and it went high in the air. And then Hopkins came over to try to clean it up, and he should have had that ball. He should have intercepted that Hopkins. He dropped, and what a surprise! Hopkins dropped
Yeah.
the ball. So I mean,
How many dropped interceptions have the Wolfpack had?
Oh, I know.
Oh,
But Carson missed 2 of them. He had a pick 6.
yeah, and again,
Playing
late,
good coverage. I mean, they're playing great coverage. You just got to make a play.
we are at the water break, and I do want to thank our sponsors. And again, that's Life South Community Blood Centers, McCarson Electric, Palm Gardens, and of course, Mike Scott Plumbing. They'll be doing the home games this year for Westport. Thank you for that. And again, if you like what you're hearing, please let us know. And again, the only reason we can do this is because John Ivory, Coach Castaneda, and me, Galen, will do it for free.
we don't even
35.
we don't even get free food from the
We don't
Kentucky.
need water here. Raw's in shotgun. They're going to give it to the running back. That's Randall. Tries to get to the edge. Has enough maybe for the first down, depending on the spot. And the cheerleaders are even yelling at Randall out there.
Yeah, you know. Speaking of which, I'm still wondering when I'm getting my Westport apparel from. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
I had to text Leslie McCarson before the game. I said, "Hey, when do I get my apparel?" And
Apparently she doesn't like what you're saying.
apparently not.
Well, I think if Vanguard runs that double slot and they put that back in motion to the wide side,
4th and 7,
the
Randall.
seam is going to be open or the back's going to be wide open on a simple throw.
Michael Randall's going to be the running back.
Put him in motion there.
Well, they've got no safety down the
Shotgun,
middle
it
of the
looks
field.
like the
Middle's
Wolfpack are
open.
blitzing. And now they're going to call a timeout because the Knights don't like that blitz coming off of the edge. It looked like Kimo Clark. He was a former player here.
I think what happened was Coach Cass just texted Coach Farmer and said, "Hey, middle of the field's open. You got to change."
Well, I
this
mean,
play."
you got to go to your spaces.
No, Kimo-
That's what we always did. You know, we try to find areas.
Kimo is
It's a
coming
lot
off of the
easier on a
edge.
quarterback when you got a big area to throw to. You just got to read one guy. You
So
know, but right now, it doesn't look like he has a progression that he goes through on his pass plays. You know, to read this. There's no progression. He goes to one guy and that's it.
Well,
So,
you know, I don't know if he's maybe good enough to make those progressions, which is why they're not putting him in
well,
that
the
position.
thing is, like you said, he came in late.
Yeah.
But, that's something when he goes to the next level, he's going to have to learn his coverages.
He's got to get there first.
Well,
It's 4th and short.
Some people can do it and some people can't.
It's 4th and short here. He throws a pretty ball. He seems to be very athletic.
Quarterback sneak with him last time, so why
Sure
not?
did. And they've got Leslie Farmer in there to be the big
You put him under
fullback.
center. He's going to be under center, so I wouldn't even bother handing it off. I just run
They're
quarterback
going to run
sneak.
2 tight end set. Only wide
Right there,
receiver is
down
Tony Johnson. And they're going to give it to Michael Randall, and he's going to be brought down right at the stick. This is going to be dependent on the spot.
I'll tell you what, he's lucky. If he gets it, he's lucky. He tried to break it outside, and Westport did a good job.
Good penetration right up the middle.
The quarterback sneak was probably there. He only needed, not even a yard.
Good penetration up front.
Oh, it was good defensive stand right there.
Yeah, the Knights brought in Ronald Carpenter, and there is a man down. Leslie Farmer, one of their big men, and they just went heavy and tried to make a play. And don't know who's down, but
Did he get the first down?
he got up. I guess they're going to bring out the sticks to measure. And you are listening to high school football right here on WOCA. The Source. I'm Galen Udall. I'm joined with John Ivory and Coach Castaneda.
And looking to get some score updates here. Looks like Denellen is winning 32-0 right now.
Trent Townsend, Cass, how good is he? You seen any film on him?
Nope.
Oh,
Am I Denellen?
yeah.
Denellen quarterback.
I just saw Denellen a little bit in that jamboree.
You should watch some film. I'd love to
I
hear
have
what you think
not
about it.
not watched him.
He is a monster of a human being. He's been big since he came out of the womb, and it's amazing when you see his father. He's like, that can't be your son.
I've never seen him play yet, but I'm curious to see how good he really is. I mean, I know he was first team all district last year as a sophomore.
He's the best quarterback in the district.
Well,
by far.
let's see about
By
that.
far.
I mean, Savino's been pretty impressive
far.
this year. I mean,
I've seen both play. Those two are the same age. They played together. They played against each other. And Trent Townsend is real. I'll tell you that. He's a huge human being.
Lake Weir's currently up on my Bellevue Rattlers, 18-6. Actually, no, it's game over. Already game over.
Well, both teams are running the
18-6.
football 100 times.
Yeah.
Great win for Lake Weir.
Well,
The Battle of the Ore.
they needed that because
War
that's
of
the
the
only
Ore.
win Lake Weir's getting this year.
Yeah,
so.
War of the Ore.
Well, did they get
Fourth
first
for the
down or
win.
what?
Yeah, they said it's 4th and...
No, they changed it.
Oh, okay. Nobody moved, though.
No, nobody's moved.
Well, Leslie's right in front of him.
First down already, I know that.
Leslie
They just
McCarson
called
is
first
right
down?
there.
Okay.
So she walks
So it's,
wherever
it's first
wherever
down
the
then.
ball goes because she's not allowed on the sidelines. Greatest team mom of all time.
I'll tell you what,
If-
they
if-
ran that. That's a good job by Westport keeping it to an inch, but I think going straight, quarterback sneak would have got it like they did the touchdown.
We have a score update. This is a lot closer than expected. Halftime, and this is as of about 30 minutes ago, but Jacksonville Bowls was beating Trinity Catholic 7-0 at halftime.
Oh, that's a close game up there.
I thought Bulls. I thought your score was going to be pretty close. That offensive line of Trinity is pretty good. They're going to hand it to the deep back. That's Michael Randall. He's going to break a tackle. Chums ahead, and there's going to be a flag on the play. They're going to call holding on Tony Johnson.
Now, one thing I like about that, Vanguard went to
flags.
the eye, and now they're going to go ahead and pound it on them.
2 flags on the play. Illegal hands to the face against the Knights. They're going to call that on Tony Johnson. He got his hand stuck up into the neck area of the defender.
But that was a good run. I mean, that was a good play. They ran the power of the lead off tackle.
Michael Randall is good. And his brother, Tyrell Randall, is good.
But they're going to have to find, Vanguard's going to have to find something that they can depend on and be consistent at. Because right now, I don't see them going past the third round or second round with what they're doing.
It's different this year.
I understand that, but I'm saying,
Listen,
Crystal River, they played the first game.
I still don't understand this playoff thing. I mean, from what I understand, everyone makes that. I don't get it.
Well, you have to with only 6 games.
I still want us to get Frank Beasley on the show. Me and him will do a halftime hash out.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
With the playoff structure.
I'd love it.
Calling you out right now, Frank Beasley.
doesn't
Come on,
listen.
let's get on the radio.
He doesn't
I'll
listen.
listen
And
to it.
Burton. Yeah, we'll get Richard Burton on here.
Oh, no.
And we will talk about the playoff structure because I don't even think the teams understand what's going on.
Well, I just saw the brackets.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're going to Crystal River the first game, which they should beat. But after the third round, with what they're doing right now offensively, I don't see them going against a good
The
team.
JV team could.
Yeah, in fact,
could
I don't
beat
even
them.
see them. They might not even beat Denellen.
Listen,
If Denellen's that good, like y'all say they are.
No. Trent Townsend's that good.
Okay.
you know, it does.
And Trent Townsend can score. You know, they've got some studs.
But they got to
out
be
there.
more consistent on offense. I know it's their second game of the year, but they got to be something there that they're good at, and they got to find out what it is.
All right, so shotgun formation for Raw. 2 wideouts to the bottom. They're going to have a tight end in to help protect. They're going to throw a go route all by himself.
Touchdown.
Tevin Williams on a beautiful route. Perfectly thrown ball.
Oh, great
20-0. Vanguard leads.
Yeah, you know, Law did a great job of actually setting his feet
He threw a nice pass.
and making a good pass right into the pylon of the end zone there.
But again, he just threw a long pass.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Where everything else is,
You can't make a read.
Vanguard's made an adjustment. They're bringing in extra blockers to give Law maybe that sense of security because he was able to set his feet and make a perfect throw. Great route there, too, by Tevin Williams. So now Logan Keene's going to come in for the extra point to make it 21-0. Nice.
kicked it-
Low snap. Tony picks it up.
That's a fake.
He's going to roll over to the left. Touchdown. That's Law. Touchdown on the 2-point conversion. Sorry.
You know, and all that was it was a bad snap. He fumbled it, and Tony Johnson made something out of nothing
Yeah.
to get the 2
Is that
points.
10 or
hard
12?
play.
That was 10. That was Tony.
Oh, that's my
Johnson.
boy. All right. Great job, Tony. I'll have to send him that highlight. All right, so here we are. 4:17 left to go here in the third quarter. Still plenty of time for the Wolfpack. If they can get something going offensively, do you make a change at quarterback? Do
I don't think so. I mean,
you bring in the freshman?
well, I like Bryce. I've had Bryce, and he knows. I'll say this in front of his face. He was horrible 2 years ago, but he's gotten so good this past year. He works hard. Adrian's done a good job with him. The JV team lost their first game. They were like 2 or 3 or 1, and he's more of a rollout, bootleg type player. He can run the ball. So I don't know, Steve. He's got 2 quarters to play the kid.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So, I mean,
uh,
even in the fourth quarter, just give him some experience for having a backup
Correct.
quarterback.
yeah, because
Right
it's
now,
22-0. I mean,
right
you-
now, what hurt Westport tonight was, and it's something that when I coached offense and we worked on offense, the thing I was concerned about most was goal line and third and short.
Yeah.
Because our first down and third and long was our regular offense.
There's a line drive kick to King, goes right through the legs of Velasquez. He's going to pick it up at the 9. Needs
Mistake.
some help. Gets a block. That'll be a block in the back. Oh, and he is popped hard by Betterson. Woo!
There's a
Don't
flag
think
on the
about
play.
that. That's going to be a block in the back clip on the Wolfpack. It'll be half the distance to the goal from about the 9.
Yeah, you know, the Vanguard special teams, they were swarming there, and that looked like that was number 22 on the big hit. Fred Gaskin, the
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We'll hear all about that on social
And
media.
let's talk about Fred Gaskin. This is a kid that we all thought was going to be at Westport this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he played quarterback for Steve Ram at
Good athlete.
MCYFL,
Yeah.
the Wolfpack. And this is a kid that we all thought would follow him over to Westport and ended up over at Vanguard. And he's a fantastic player.
Oh,
Steve Wynn was not happy about that. He thought he had him. But it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 4 for the Wolfpack.
Now this is going to be a tough.
And they did make a
right
change
there.
at quarterback.
They brought Bryce in.
Yep. Well, they brought in, it looks like,
Oh, number 2.
Seidel.
Seidel. They got Seidel at quarterback.
Now they're going
It's
to
all
put,
right. I work with him
Buster at
some
wide
in the summer,
receiver.
and he just
It's going to be a delay of game. Oh, timeout.
he
Knights.
throws a 3/4 arm and not.
They didn't have enough
very
men on the
accurate.
field there. Farmer's not happy about it. How about Todd Davis in the night outfit, the head basketball
I
coach of the
saw him
Vanguard
when I
Knights?
came in.
And wearing the night gear tonight with the chainmail. Well, he's got a game tomorrow at 9 a.m. at Wildwood.
A basketball?
Yeah. So I would bring on Aaron James, the best player in the county
Is
in
Slim
basketball.
still playing for? Is he still
Yeah.
quarterback at Wildwood?
Who?
Slim, the one we had over there at
My son? No. Who?
Slim. You remember the one from Wildwood, the one I worked with? the quarterback. He's 6'4", and really good quarterback.
I thought he was at Trinity now, maybe.
I don't know if he went. I don't know, because JB had him, but I thought he was from Wildwood. He's a good player.
Yeah. Now I think he's at Trinity now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Brantley can recruit. Did I say that out loud? Yes, I'm allowed to. I'm a independent third
Well, it
party.
didn't help him last week, and it's probably not helping him this week.
Yeah.
1st and 10, and they're going to hand it off to Hopkins, who tries to break outside and just met with fury there by the Knights defense.
Yeah, Vanguard's doing a good job now on defense. They're just going after it.
This
They're
defense is good. As I said coming in, their defensive line is the only question mark, but they've sewn that up. The linebackers and the back half of this defense is special. And they got a bunch of sophomores and juniors out there, sophomores and freshmen out there now playing.
Vanguard's calling off the dogs here pretty early. I'm kind of surprised at that.
Well, Farmer's not going to run it up against Rim.
Yeah, they're not going to do
He's not going to do that.
but
He's not going to
dog
do
has
that.
his day.
But
He's not gonna do that.
There's plenty of time on this clock.
High
Nicky.
formation for Seidel. He gives it to Hopkins, who breaks the tackle up the middle. He's got enough for the first down, dives ahead out to the 16-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Wolfpack.
Hopkins on the carry.
Yeah, Hopkins, he's running as hard as he can here. This is tough. They can't make a big play because they've got so many guys in the box. They're not respecting the pass.
Well, he did his game plan.
Not everybody can get over it.
They're very one-dimensional, and they have to be.
If he
They don't have a
could
choice.
have had played good in the red zone, it'd have been a close game.
Correct.
A touchdown or
Two
two.
picks, two
You
drops.
got used out there
picks.
twice and you can't finish your drive. Hurts.
Yeah.
You know,
Wasn't even a drive. They got the ball down
Yeah.
there one time.
Two drop pick sixes. There's a difference in this game. I formation. Hopkins is the deep back. Knights are going to blitz right up the middle side down. Throws a little tight end dump. And Buster makes a great catch in traffic. Oh, sorry. That's Chemo.
Chemo.
It'll be a first down Wolfpack.
Chemo on the catch.
well, that was lucky.
Yeah, I mean, he
He led in the
just
coverage.
He literally
There's three receivers there.
He was
and the
play
guy just
action.
jumped up.
He closed his eyes and threw.
Yeah, so I'm not giving him no. I'm glad he completed it, but I'm not
Another
giving
great
him,
mama.
It wasn't a great
Chemo's mom is awesome.
job.
All right, I formation for the Wolfpack. New fullback in there. And Hopkins is going to follow him over that left side. Ball. Nope, that wasn't the ball. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. 2:18 left to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, it looks like
22-0 is the score.
So Buster's out of the game altogether now. And he's
I
not.
wonder if he cramped or they're just giving him a series off because
Right,
he
he's
is
a
playing
break.
both ways.
He's been going both ways,
Yard man, call it 2nd and
and he's got to have a fresh for defense.
And again, the
Who's
Knights are
Vanguard
starting
play
to
next week?
I don't know. I don't have the schedule.
Who's
in
Vanguard
front of me.
play next week?
I thought they played Lake Weir. Don't hold me to that. I formation. Seidal's going to keep it on a quarterback keeper. Runs right up the middle. I didn't see that coming. Picked up 3. It'll be 3rd and
He
5.
might have had a bad snap there.
Interesting play. Runs the clock though. 1:33 left to go in the third quarter. The scoreboard now says it's 82-0 Knights. Again, if you have any poll within someone who can buy this field a clock, if we can't get $25,000,
You know, we talked years
build
ago.
a clock.
We,
Come on.
We talked years ago about, you know how much money they spend on fertilizer and
oh my gosh,
just make turf it and use it for all sports.
By the way,
35.
Vanguard plays North Marion
we're
next
going to
week.
give it to Hopkins. That'll be the duel of the north side.
Yeah, I think
Maybe I wonder if North Marion will get a win tonight since they're off. I don't think so.
Well, supposedly, so here's what I learned. So it was a couple of key players at North Marion are without tonight because of being exposed to someone with COVID in their class. But apparently, it happened so late in the week that they're probably missing the game versus Vanguard too. But like it would matter, I think Vanguard wins in a blowout against North Marion anyway.
North Marion is just not the same team.
No.
I formation for the Wolfpack. 4th and short here. Big play here. We're going to keep it on a quarterback sneak.
got
He's
it.
got the first down.
That's a good
That'll be
job
1st
out
and
offensive
10.
line coming out.
William Cotney led the way.
Yeah, and Seidel, I mean, he did a great job just sticking his nose in there
He's a
for the
big
first
kid.
time. Yeah.
He usually plays tight end and defensive end. And he made a good play. And This drive started at the own 4 after the penalty on the kickoff, and they moved the ball all the way out to the 40 where it's 1st and 10.
Buster back in, or they call time? Oh, they're letting the clock run. It's quarter.
They're going to let this clock run down the end of the third quarter.
While we do that, let me thank our sponsors. And first off, thank you very much for listening to high school football right here on WOCA The Source, 96.3 FM and 1370 AM. I don't know if anybody listens to AM radio anymore, but it's there. And of course, we are always on YouTube at YouTube WOCA The Source.
And we are on the Westport Report YouTube station, too.
Absolutely.
You can listen to us from all over the world, it seems.
Everywhere. Well, you can. It's the worldwide
What's the
web.
Westport Report? What is
So
that?
they've got their own YouTube station, and what they've actually done is so opposed to our kind of like our bad type of thing that on the cell phone, the video, they actually have real cameras following this game, and they're feeding us into that as well.
So how do you see that?
Just YouTube Westport Report, and
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to do that next week. I got to go up to Georgia. I'll be gone for a week. Next
Oh,
week.
you're not
You're
going
not
to
going to
be
be
in.
with us.
No, my daughter's moving from California, and we got to go help her move. She bought a big old house over there in Richmond Hills. So I'm happy she's 3.5 hours away after 20 years.
After 3,000 miles.
And Michael's still out in Hawaii or
Michael's in California, but he's driving her across country.
Okay.
All right, so again, I formation for Westport, and they're moving now from our right to our left, and we start the fourth quarter. Play action pass, Seidel throws it deep, and he's going to be nearly picked off.
Now,
Well
good
thrown
for it.
ball.
Gavin would have thrown a short receiver.
Yeah.
He was wide open.
Yeah, it
But
looked
he's
like
just
they
looking
had
at deep. They ran a flood route. Guy deep, guy about 15 intermediate, and the guy short. So the short was wide open, and he would have probably
flag
got
on the
it 10,
play.
15 yards.
This is going to be a holding call. It'll be 1st and 20 now for the Wolfpack. And again, now as they start getting tired, this O-line starting to get beat up. They're starting to hold a little bit and drag their feet. Sorry.
I think at this point it
You see through
becomes
the window.
Yeah, the windows are dirty. But this becomes a moral thing for Westport High School. They got to get on the board. Just get on the board. I mean.
Pregame
Well,
they said they were going to
they
struggle
have nothing to be
scoring.
ashamed about because they came out here and they had opportunities, but you got to cash in on opportunities. Vanguard struggled early, but they overcame it and made some big plays.
As of right now, Vanguard is a better program. I don't think anybody
Oh,
doubted
we
that.
know. Oh, yeah.
You're talking about a Westport team.
They're the
that-
most consistent program in the last 10 years.
Absolutely. Shotgun formation for Seidel. He drops back. He's under pressure. They're going to set up a screen.
Little screen.
Well done. Isaiah Hopkins got it, but that speed of the Knights, the ball pops out late. He's going to pick up 6, and my gosh, he's got to hold on to the football. That was his problem in youth football as well. This is not a new issue for Hopkins.
Yeah, and it seems like he's been having trouble handling the ball all the way going back to week 1 against Bellevue. It's been an ongoing thing with him.
How do you teach that, Coach? I mean, how do you
You
teach?
want to know what I did?
Yeah.
And I've sat down many good running backs. They fumble, they come out of the game, and the next guy goes in.
Yeah, but how do you coach it? I mean, how do you teach it?
Ball security drills.
Well, I think what Coach is
And we
saying
focus it.
it's probably more mental than anything.
It is.
All right,
I mean,
3
they
out.
got 5 points of pressure, and you got to be able to do
Seidel throws it out to the flats. He's got him in Velasquez. And Velasquez probably wish he had not even suited up today.
yeah,
Because my man is getting beat
Now,
up.
the thing about Johnny, I can tell you, Johnny fumbled twice in his career at Vanguard. And both were his sophomore. He went over 500 carries without a fumble.
We had gone
But that's-
almost
I
2
mean,
quarters
yeah,
without a
we
Johnny
worked.
Presley story.
We worked on, when he was coaching, our running backs didn't fumble. They come out of the game, they knew it.
I will say on that play, though, Emil Sanko, he laid a devastating hit on
you-
the last
and-
stand.
He just ran over him.
If you
This
stand
Sanko
next to
kid
him,
is a good
if you stand
corner.
next to him, you're like, he doesn't play football. And then he puts on a helmet, he becomes a different person.
Well,
He does talk a lot of trash, but yeah. 3rd and 11. Seidel wants to throw that flanker out. That's not going to work. He eyed that the whole way, and Hopkins got beat up. That's on the quarterback. He's got to do a better job, at least look downfield.
I tell you, Sanko, he's got the last name. I'm wondering if he's related to Steve Rem, because Steve Rem is with that Sanko family in some
I don't
way,
know.
Steve Rim's related to everybody almost. It's like Gaskins. There's a Gaskins kid on every football team in Marion County.
No, the last name that always resonates with North Marion is Wilkerson.
Sure.
There's always a Wilkerson every year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's amazing.
I had a great receiver that played with us, Antonio Wilkerson, who I thought was an awesome receiver.
All right, so the Wolfpack are going to come into punt here on 4th down and 20. This will be interesting. Not a good snap. Decent kick.
Good
End over
punt.
end. Rucker's going to catch it on the fly at his own 45. He studied
got an
steps.
opening.
He's going to run by Saidar, and then he jumps and jukes. He's got one man to beat. To the end zone. Touchdown, Trevante Rucker.
And that's why he's going to Florida. That was there's not many guys that's turning that into a touchdown. Most football players are out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
I thought he was knocked out of bounds.
Most players are out of bounds, not Rucker.
That was a great run.
Trevante Rucker got me one. He said he's going to give me a couple tonight. He's only had his hand on one of them.
Did he get a touchdown?
He's got 2 touchdowns, but he told me he was going to have 2 kicks. So I'll probably be hearing about that tonight about midnight as he texts me. But he's so good. I just enjoy him. Every time I would go and interview Farmer last year, it was either Momo or Rucker or both of them sitting in his office. And then when Momo left, Trevante took on a bigger leadership role. And you can tell his hands are all over this team. Extra point is good. It is now 30, 29
After
to nothing.
that incident, I guess, at the Allen game, when he left at halftime, Vanguard got better.
Well, and
They played better second half.
you took the words out of my mouth, and I'm glad you said it and not me. But I mean, it seems to me like some of the bad influences that was around here are gone now.
Well, you let a kid do what they want to, and you got 50 other kids doing the right thing. You got to do something.
But that kid who's getting to do whatever he wants, he's also the guy getting all the fame and the glory.
You saw what happened on 7-on-7.
Oh yeah,
Steve didn't put up with that crap.
No, we told him to take a hike, and
Take a hike,
and what did he do? He went and played with the South Florida Express.
Right. And he never learned anything from the experience.
So they're going to call a personal foul on Westport after the kick, and so they're going to
At 15 yards.
put that penalty on the kick.
Yeah.
And don't know what that was, but the kick was good. So I believe the score is 29-0.
Did they run into the kicker?
Maybe. I didn't see it. I didn't see anything. And the officials talked about it for a very, very long time. But in all that, we lose the fact that Momo is an incredible, incredible talent. If you talk to him one-on-one, he's as personable and as friendly as possible. But as someone who I respect a great deal who got out of this town and made himself something, said you can't have one foot in the hood and one foot on the team. And that was something that always fought Momo. And, he had every opportunity in the world. One of the great talents.
In fact, he had too many opportunities.
To come out of Marion County.
Well, he even had a lot of families who wanted to help him, who took him in.
Not all of them are right. Not all of them are right.
They appeased him. They let him do whatever he wants to.
There's a lot of misinformation about
But
what
I
happened
agree with you. I
when
mean,
he
he's a
lived
great
with some
kid
of
and
those
everything,
families.
but he didn't have it. I talked to him a couple years ago, his junior year, and I told him, I said, Momo, just think somebody says, I'll give you $1 million if you can behave for 4 years.
Well, the hope.
And he goes, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Well, the hope
Behave
was.
for 4 years and you're a millionaire.
The hope was
And he couldn't do it.
if you could get him to the University of Florida, and you put him in that bubble,
Well,
he would have excelled
He stayed with Dante down in Straining.
and did fine. Well, except every weekend when he came to
He didn't do
Ocala.
fine because he didn't finish.
Yeah, well,
Where is he now?
he's in a JUCO school. And
And he won't make it there.
now, and again, he's got to, a lot of these kids, and we all know it, we coach them, a lot of these kids, their family life isn't that stable, and the influences on some of their lives is so powerful. That negative influence and that pull is just
I agree with you on
huge.
the point because I've seen it happen so many times. But the kid has got to want to do it himself. You can't just hand them everything.
No, that's fair.
They got to be held
It's absolutely
accountable for the
fair.
stuff they do, and you got to.
But who's going to hold them accountable?
You do. I do.
Well,
I
the
would hold
coach
them
does.
accountable.
Right? And again, that's been one of the knocks on the
That's
Knights
the
for
same deal.
years. is
Justin
that-
Watkins came over here. I told Farmer we got problems, and I like Justin now, but he would have played for me. He would have made it because he was all about Justin.
Well, that's
And
fair.
I'm sorry,
That's fair.
to me, usually a kid like that will take 2 or 3 kids with him.
Yeah.
Good kids. And I'm nothing against Justin. I like Justin, but it's just he was given all this stuff, and people would turn a blind eye when he did something wrong, and you can't do that.
Lydell's in shotgun as it's 1st and 10. He's going to fire into the flats. That's dropped by Chemo, and that'll set up 2nd and 10. I'm sorry, 3rd and 10. It's 29-0 is our score here. 8:31 left to go in this football game. The Knights are leading.
And when a kid's at a different school every year, I think that says a little something too.
Well, but I told him, when I left, he was coming in, and I told him that his freshman year, he went to some other school sophomore year. He let him come back.
He went Vanguard,
And then he
North
went
Marion,
somewhere
Vanguard,
else.
Eastridge.
And I told him when his freshman year, you don't need him.
Yeah.
I've let a lot of kids I've asked to leave and go to another school. Good players. But it didn't fit the Vanguard way.
Yeah.
Shotgun formation, Sardell. Pump fakes, hitch and go, and that could be
That's
picked.
picked.
That ball was up in the air for a country mile.
He picked it.
And interception, couldn't tell. It's going to be 1st
Yeah,
and
he
10
picked it.
Knights. Oh, they're going to say it's incomplete, out of bounds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think that was Gaskins.
Yeah, that was
I think it's
Gaskins.
22, right?
22, yeah.
I just saw his number.
He almost had his first career interception, but unfortunately, yeah, he said he was out of bounds.
Yeah, he threw it off his back foot and did not get anything. from that ball.
You know what I don't like about this though with Gaskins is he's a freshman. He's a 9th grader. He's not starting on the varsity. He's basically playing during garbage time. Why have him on the varsity team?
He's on the JV team,
Well,
too.
They'll
He's
have
one of the
a-
6 quarters.
He's a
this is a
6'4"
rule.
kid.
This is a
Okay.
rule I had, and I know coaches want to bring kids up. If you bring a sophomore up, if he can't play half a game, he don't need to be
Oh,
up.
bad.
Yeah.
Not a
And
great
I think
kick.
he's
End
playing
over
half a
end
game
punt.
right now. But
But
now with the
they're out of
6-quarter
bounds.
rule,
But that's a new rule.
he might have played last night.
He did. Yeah, he played
now
the
he's
whole
allowed
game
2
last
more
night.
quarters, which is
He played all 4
totally-
quarters.
And that's a whole new rule.
Yeah, that's a whole new
Correct.
rule.
And it's a great rule during the shortened season.
Well,
I think it's a phenomenal rule.
it's really a good rule meant for smaller schools, is what it is.
Sure.
If you're a school like a Vanguard, you shouldn't need that rule. You really don't. You should have the depth to where you don't need that rule. But a school like a Dunellen,
A Lake Weir, a Bellevue.
not even those schools.
By the way,
they should have the depth.
Dunellen and Vanguard are the exact same size. They're in the same
But a lot of
classifications.
times at the end of the year, you
There aren't
bring
that
the
many
kids
students at
up with
Vanguard.
the varsity, or you go to playoffs and stuff, and we put a lot of those kids on special teams. Now they're getting opportunities to play. When you bring them up at the end of the year in playoffs,
Yeah.
they got experience.
Yeah, I love the 6 quarter because Vanguard's a small school. People don't realize that. Betterson with a run right up the middle. That'll set up 2nd and 3. Ball sits at the 37. Yeah, I mean, I think people have this vision of how big Vanguard is, but they're just not.
Well, they're just not as big
Well,
as what they used to be.
Correct.
The
Yeah.
school has gotten smaller.
Yeah, and the only reason they're as big as they are is because of the IB program.
Yeah.
The IB program's half the population at Vanguard. 3 wideouts, 2 to the bottom, 1 to the top. They're
There's
going to
that
give it to
little
Betterson
trap.
again. He tries to break it outside, but he's met by everybody on the left
Well,
side.
we're even talking about how some of the schools have changed sizes. I mean, when I went to Bellevue, late '90s, early 2000s, that school had close to 2,000 kids in
Yeah.
it. It was massive.
Sure.
And then
Westport came in.
they built Westport, and Westport basically decimated Bellevue, and then they built the new Forest High School.
And Trinity
like
Catholic.
right inside of that Bellevue district line
Sure.
over there. And now
Trinity Catholic's bigger.
yeah.
Lake Weir is very small. I mean, they don't have enough to field a full varsity team the way we used to back in the day where there were cuts. There are no cuts in football anymore. Law's going to fire it out to the flats.
Another-
It's caught, and he's going to be brought down for no
Another
gain.
quarry.
nice tackle by McCarson. Open
Yeah,
field
he
there.
threw a nice pass there, but it was, it wasn't
Carson
very-
Electric.
I
Tony
might
Johnson on
have
the
lost
catch.
yardage on that.
Well, and going back to these school sizes, I mean, I would think it would be nice to see maybe the county figure out a way to make everyone almost proportionally the same,
Well,
so we are in the same.
Back when I
district.
first got here in the late 70s, Marion County, and we had a good superintendent, Leon Rogers. every school was 5A and was a district. Everybody in the county played each other for district.
It's not that
and
clean
he did
anymore.
that.
It's not that
I know,
clean
but that's
anymore
what he did.
because of magnet programs. You know, you look at how many of the kids at Westport are in the arts program.
And that screws Westport.
And how many kids for Vanguard are in the IB program? How many of those IB kids play football? 3?
Well, I don't know.
think 3.
And it's usually the kicker.
Right? You know how many play on the basketball team? 2. You know what I mean? So last year there was 1 IB kid on the varsity basketball team. Oh, another fumble by Hopkins at the 5. There's a flag on the play or something went down, and Hopkins is going to trip at the 10. But if you think about that, if half of your population are not athletes or they're true, if you look at the IB kids, most of them are Patellas and they don't play football. Their family never play football. That's a fact. Nick is an Indian, am I wrong? I'm a Native American. I'm a feather, not a dot. But that's a fact.
Well, really, the FAA is really going to shut us down now.
But
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a fact.
but you got what's different too is now
My son, who's at FSU, at one time, he brought over like 7 kids to the house. Every single one of them was their last name was Patel. That's a true story. And another true story is 4 of them owned a convenience store. That's also a true story. I said, this is such a stereotype.
It was either a convenience store or a doctor, right?
And 3 of them got perfect scores on the SAT. It's true. I mean, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a fact. And so if that's where your school is, so that's why Forrest went with the engineering program.
well, you know the thing
They're
gets me,
trying to be that draw. Lake Weir's
they're
trying
just
to be
trying to
IB school.
recruit and back at least the last 3 or 4 years is ridiculous. You go to any school you want to.
Yeah.
I wish they
It's
had
Lincoln
that.
County.
You know how many kids I turned down and wanted to come to Vanguard? I wouldn't let.
Yeah, how many kids who play at Vanguard are actually zoned for
Well, I don't
Vanguard?
know, but I'm talking about when I coached there. I had to turn kids away. You know, but now you can go anywhere you want to.
Shotgun formation for Seidel. They won the
Run
option.
the option. Good play.
And Hopkins is going to need to break a tackle. He does, and he's brought down after about a 2-yard gain. Ran about 15 to get those 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. 5:27 left to go. 29-0. Vanguard wins. But again, I mean, that's a fact of the matter. I mean, when we went to school, you had no choice. There were 4 schools in the county. 4.
Yeah.
Everybody you knew went to the same high school, and you played together. You grew up together. And MCYFL was the same thing. You played for the Cowboys. You were going to Forest High School.
Speaking of which, did you see MCYFL now has a Celtics team? How
I
about
was
that?
lobbying with that. Yeah. Sturdivant, when he was there, that was one of the things he really wanted to have
Oh,
happen.
you know who really got that done?
I formation, you're going to give it to Hopkins, and right up the middle, huge gain.
Good run.
He's all the way up to the 40, knocked down at about the 45-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Biggest play of the night for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, heck of a run there by Hopkins. He found the hole and he went. I mean, he's I'll tell
Offensive
you,
line did a good job there.
Yeah.
He hit that hole. Again, the thing I like about his running style, he doesn't stop. I mean, he'll make a one cut, and he's always going north and south.
Yep.
He's not going losing yardage, going sideways. He hit that hole quick. And Lightsey's the same way. Another kid they don't have tonight is Lightsey.
Yeah.
That's right. Buster's back out on the field. He's going to be one of the wide outs to the bottom as they go 2 each way. Seidel drops back. He looks that way. Now he's going to fire it deep
That's
to
a
Hill.
good read.
And it's caught at the 30. He's going to get in the end zone. Touchdown, Wolfpack.
Now the quarterback did an excellent read. See him fake the side screen?
Yep.
The guy came up, and the defensive back hesitated, and he threw it deep.
And we're going to get a defensive pass interference, which they'll obviously decline here. But, yeah, heck of a job by Leonard Hill to stick with the ball.
Yeah, that was a good job by the quarterback. He really looked him off good, and the guy got behind him.
I tell you, Leonard Hill, he's only a sophomore. He's got a chance to be very special.
He's another kid who was on that Chiefs team that I said is going to have all those Division I players.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that you watch that highlight tape of that team, they were great. They were great. Coached by Wayne Hopkins.
Wayne played for me.
He's also the one who got the Celtics team going.
Yeah, Wayne played for me.
Did he really?
Yeah. He's a running back.
That makes sense.
But he was over there talking one day at MCYFL field, talking about how he was at 190 something. I said, well, hell, you lifted at 154. How'd you get 190? So they talk these stories, but when I'm around, they can't I kind of catch him on it. But he's doing a heck of a job with that league. Thunder. He's really good with the kids. He really helped them a lot.
Yeah, he's a great coach. So they're going to go for 2 here, and it's going to be a stoppage and play. They're waiting for something. The officials are talking about it. Touchdown. Oh, now they're going to signal the play. We all kind of knew what was going on.
We knew pass interference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but Wayne does a good job. He's done a good job with that group.
You know what's great about Wayne is he's so positive, and every single player on his team, you know, he coaches everybody on the team.
I've been to a couple of his practices, and I've been really
Oh,
impressed with the way they're spaced out and the fundamentals that he
Our
teaches.
practices were much harder than our games. Seidel's going to throw it for a 2-point conversion, and it's
Picked
picked off. Almost. Gaskins had that one in his hands and dropped it.
I tell you,
I'll tell you what, Gaskins is playing a heck of a
He's
game.
a stud.
He's playing with varsity players as a 9th grader, as if he's been out here for years doing
Yeah.
this. So just imagine how good this kid's going to be by the time he's a junior and then a senior.
Well, and again, he's going against, you know, he just did a, you know, chest bump with Michael Randall. He's going against kids like Trevante Rucker, who can really show him the way. Kids he idolizes.
Well, you can he doesn't have the most developed body out there,
No,
you know, but he's going to
14
go
years
for
old.
himself. Yeah.
He goes against them in practice every day and gets better.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's so important.
That's so important. You got good work ethic. That's the difference between being mediocre and really good.
Yeah.
So
The work ethic.
So the score is 29-6. Again, you're listening to high school football right here on
I guess they
WOCA.
put the penalty from the pass interference on the kickoff.
I've never seen that before. How do you do that?
I don't know.
I've never seen that. But
Because usually that's a dead ball foul. Isn't it?
yeah, only dead ball fouls, personal fouls, must have been something. Anyway, well, if they did that on the extra point, now why not replay the extra point?
Well, I think we're going to see either an onside kick or one of those little pooch kicks.
I mean, this makes no
Vanguard's
sense.
playing for the onside
But I'm
kick.
always amazed at the officiating that we see week in, week out. All right, and that's going to be the
He
whistle
just squibbed
move.
it. He
He
squibbed
squibbed it. That's got to be picked up. Randall's going to
whistle
pick it
blew.
up at the run. He's going to run it out. He's got a hole, and it's a
no,
big
he's
one.
gone.
He's over the left
He's gone.
side. Now he cuts it up the middle. He's over midfield. The only people around him are Knights, and there's 7 of them. It's going to be a touchdown. Michael Randall.
Listen, I don't know what happened there. There was a whistle.
That was a whistle to bring the play in motion.
It seemed like there was a whistle to stop the play.
I thought there was a
Yeah,
whistle.
there was a Westport stopped. They stopped. They didn't cover it. There was a whistle, and then
Flag on the play. They're going to get a celebration penalty because the Knights danced in the end zone. Let them dance. They worked their butts off. They scored a touchdown. They didn't embarrass anybody. They didn't throw it in anybody's face. They just did a little jig.
I'm still confused why there was a whistle.
I heard a whistle right before he kicked
I
it.
thought it was a whistle to bring the ball in play.
Okay. Because
That's
he was
what I thought.
running up to the ball.
But he can't start in motion to kick the ball
Till they whistle.
Till they whistle.
No,
So-
that's not. You can't kick the ball until the ball's whistled. You can't put the
know.
ball in play
I
until
don't
the
know.
whistle.
I just saw him running toward the ball and I heard a whistle.
It doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So,
But that was a
all right,
good
we'll be
return
back.
for a touchdown.
3:53 left to go here in the football game. Logan is going to put the ball in the air, and the kick is good. Goes over the.
If it's 100 yards, then the ball should be on the 20.
It would have been a 98. It would have been 98, 99 yards.
Yeah.
It's a great run. I don't think anybody got close to it.
As soon as he made the turnover,
He
I
made
thought he was
that
gone.
initial move after he put his foot in the ground, and then he just ran. And again, the Randall twins are special athletes. They are special athletes and have been since they were 7. But the score is 36-6 now with 3:53 left to go as we approach the top of the hour.
I tell you,
want to
Mike-
thank you. Hold on. Got to do a WOCA, The Source, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. And I want to thank McCarson Electric, Life South Community Blood Centers, and Palm Gardens.
My score prediction was 34-12.
Yeah, you're not even close.
How do you figure?
It's 36-6. I'm not giving you that. It's the price is right. You can't go over.
Listen,
Game's not over yet.
Westport's about to backdoor cover this. They're gonna.
Did you? I bet the over. Because anybody who bets the under is a terrible person.
So
Now, because of the personal foul, just
Listen,
one quick
I
thing.
love betting unders.
Really? Do you really?
It's my theory is it's not over till it's over.
Are you really?
I'm an under all the time.
God, you're a horrible human being.
I'm an under guy.
Like, you must be that guy in the bar going, "Don't score."
Yes. Exactly.
Oh,
Or
that's
I'm that
terrible.
guy watching a horse race when I see my 1 and 2 that's supposed to hit the exacta around the stretch. I'm yelling, "Stop the race!" That's me.
That's different. Hopkins is going to pick it up at the 25. He heads over the right side, needs to get a block, tries to get to the edge, brings it over midfield. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wolfpack with 3:45 left to go. It's 36-6 Knights, and again, you're listening to WOCA The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. I'm Galen Unel, joined with John Ivory and Coach Castaneda, and anybody who bets the under is a terrible person. Cass apparently doesn't bet. But,
I don't bet.
it's hard when you're a high school football coach.
Now,
I mean, what are you
I
gonna bet on?
might, I might see what Clemson and Miami is going to do.
Well, you're an Cozy Perry fan.
I'm taking.
I'm a Miami fan.
I'm taking Miami on the 14 points. I don't know about you, but Miami looks damn good this year.
They're not. They don't play
They haven't
anybody.
played anybody.
They played Florida State.
But they look good.
They
Two wideouts
played
each way.
Louisville, which is a good team.
Seidal's going to hand it off to the running back. He breaks a tackle, breaks two, busts it outside. That's Hopkins. Runs out of bounds right at the yardstick. It'll be 2nd and short.
That was a good run. Broke a tackle, made a nice cut, and,
tell you what.
and exploded through the first
We
down.
haven't had a lot to cheer about, but that offensive line, it looked like Ramey got out there and just crushed the linebacker.
You know, Westport, they're a young team. They really are young.
Ramey's a sophomore.
And those kids, I think they grew up tonight, and they're going to be a pretty good offensive unit next year.
Well, the moving
Beat the end of this
yardstick, we're having a problem there. Yeah, this team in 2 years with this offensive line will be really good. They just got to figure out their quarterback position. Gavin's just a junior. He'll be back next week.
God, these guys blow whistles.
Bowles. We'll get to that in a second.
Seidel drops back. He's going to fire to the left side to the flats. Not a good throw at all. Intended for Buster, who was open.
Now, if
Just
they
fell
ran a little
incomplete.
out route with him, Buster would have had a good angle. But he's stopping right there in the
Looked like a
coverage.
stop route. Just wasn't a
Yeah,
well-thrown
I think he
ball.
would have ran out to the flat. He'd have been open.
Little score update: Jacksonville Bowls beat Trinity Catholic 24-7.
I don't think we're surprised by that.
No, we're not surprised at all.
Well, and again, you know, when you get a coaching change, you got to change your philosophy. They lost their best player, Burt, when he transferred to Forest.
The thing I'm surprised with is that they didn't put up more points with that offensive line. I mean,
Who they got throwing the football? Who are they throwing to?
We'll get to that in a second after this play. But
It's 3rd and short.
I'll tell you what I know about the quarterback situation.
3:17. They're going to have 2 wideouts each way. Buster's going to set up in the slot at the top. Hopkins is the running back. He's going to stay in and block. Seidel throws it and is crushed. That's a fumble. And it's going to be a sack, scoop, and score for the Knights. Touchdown.
And I tell you, that's number 32, Riley Smith, a 10th grader.
He's
and a backup. That's a heck of a memory for him.
He played freshman basketball last year.
Yeah.
I recruited him to play on my basketball team, but he said, no, I'm a football player. He's a good athlete. He's a very, very good athlete.
Well, he did a heck of a
showed it
job
on
there.
that. Just blew by Ramey on the right side of that offensive line.
He also just messed up my spread.
Well, it was never right. The overhit. Yes. The overhit.
Well, going back to the Trinity Catholic quarterback situation. So as you know, their quarterback is the son of Billy Gonzalez, the receiver
Correct.
coach over at University of Florida. He transferred from Oak Hall.
Correct.
From what I understand, the kid is a pretty good quarterback. Like he's a really good runner. That's what he does best with. He's a good runner.
He's playing
Fast
big boy football now.
Well, and that's the problem. He's had an issue adjusting to big boy football. He's not trusting his offensive line. He's not staying in the pocket. He's leaving the pocket for no reason. And with that offensive line you have at Trinity, how do you not trust him?
How many D1s they got? 3?
3.
Right?
And they've got a 4th kid by the name of Kinsler, who's a sophomore.
Sophomore. All right.
And from what I understand, he may end up
Kick
being
is good.
He may end up being as big, if not bigger, than any of them when it comes to the recruiting.
Slaughter's
market.
good.
Yeah.
Slaughter's really, really good.
But my point is how do you not trust that as a quarterback to stay in the pocket? And he's been conditioned during his time at Oak Hall not to trust his offensive line.
Well, and he's gotten away with it because his feet are good.
Yeah.
But our score here is 43-6. We're in a running clock situation. So there's 1:45 left to go, and that's all the time that would be left.
I tell you though, the score does not dictate how close this game really was.
Game of two halves.
Yeah, 43-6. The game was really a lot closer than what this is.
And again, Westport had opportunities and just didn't take advantage of them.
Vanguard had a couple of kicks run back, three kicks run back, and that guy picked one fumble up for a touchdown. But the whole thing goes back to the first half and really beginning of the second half when it was 14-0. Westport had opportunities to score.
Yeah.
They had 3 opportunities in the red zone, and they came away with nothing.
Kicking
And
game
that hurts.
hurt them
And that
too,
hurts.
because if they weren't able to put up points, it changes the game.
Well, but
because
but
Vanguard
gotta
does
be able
not
to
play
finish
well from
drives.
behind.
This
gotta be
very-
able to finish drives.
This very well could have been a tie game going in the half.
Yeah. So, it's just, and that's what breaks the game. You got to be able to be mentally tough enough to finish drives, and they didn't.
So Logan Keene's going to put his foot into it. 42 seconds left to go because of the running clock. This is going to be filled by Velasquez, and he's going to run up the middle, and he's hit pretty well right at the 22-yard line.
But I
And
think-
that may be the last play.
I think Steve will look at this film and he'll see, because the kids played hard. They just got a little bit tired. But, you're a young team, and you got to work on these mistakes. I don't know who they got next week.
Yeah, who do they play next week?
Let's
When's their bye week as well? Because I'm getting all kinds of requests for Vanguard to cover the Donnellan game. So we may be back here for the Donnellan game.
that may be a good idea. But let's see here. So Westport next week, they have Lake Weir. They have Lake Weir.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. That's a
They're
get well game.
Home
Yeah.
against Lake Weir.
So that's our final here. It's 43-6. Knights win.
I think Vanguard's got a lot of work to do because if they're thinking going deep in the playoffs, what they're doing offensively, I don't think we'll do it.
Oh yeah, no,
I really don't.
Without a doubt, this is not a state championship caliber
No,
team.
it's not.
as far as I'm
It's not
concerned.
what they've had in the past.
No, I mean, they like you said, they've got a lot of work to do. They got to work on this passing game, and they got to work on the protection.
They got to
They
work
gotta
on
work on the
blocking.
protection.
They got to work on blocking.
Yeah. The running game's pretty good.
Well, it wasn't good the first half.
No, but they don't. Again, Farmer will abandon the running game in a heartbeat.
Well, that's something that, and especially when you get in the playoffs, you got to be able to run the ball.
But let's be clear. The star of tonight's show, Ware's number 1. He's going to go to the University of Florida next year. His name is Trevante Rucker.
Yeah.
He could be the best wide receiver to come out of Marion County in a very, very long time.
What's amazing about Rucker is he barely touched the ball tonight and was the best playmaker out there. Like, could you imagine if they figured out a way to get the ball in his hands?
I've seen it.
yeah.
I
It's
think
like it's like they didn't even try to get the ball in his hands.
when he was a sophomore, Momo was a sophomore, it was the best tandem I'd ever seen in Marion County. They were that special. If they got the ball in their hands, they were going to score.
Better than Jones and Clark.
Jeez, I knew you were going to go there.
Better than Wilkerson and Ponder.
Yes, they were better, but they didn't have a Dante. If Dante was throwing to Trevante Rucker
Well,
and
hey,
Momo,
they-
Leonard Manuel, they would
Hey,
load up the clock.
Wilkerson and Ponder had 3 quarterbacks in 3 years. They won 3 district titles.
Oh, man, but you got to remember,
They're not even close.
Vanguard's had 7 quarterbacks in the last 3 years. 7.
they're not
and they've
close
been
to
in the
what-
regional finals.
They're not
4
close to.
straight years.
They're not close to what those 4. If I had to pick all Vanguard receiving team, and people ask me what your all Vanguard team, it's tough.
You got to put Rucker. Rucker is way up
I
there.
can't see him there. Remember Amel Brooks?
Sure I do.
88
He's no
catches.
Rucker.